Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports President Donald Trump on Tuesday pardoned 2 cattle ranchers convicted of arson in a fight against the federal government that later sparked the occupation of a wildlife refuge in Oregon. Stephen and Dwight Hammond were convicted in 2012 of intentionally setting fires on public lands under a domestic terrorism law after having served several months in jail for the same offense. The decision sparked a protest 4 years later by Ammon Bundy and others who took over the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge in Harney County, Oregon for 40 days in January and February 2016. They argued the Hammonds were victims of federal overreach. On Tuesday, Trump said evidence at the Hammonds trial over their responsibility for the fires was conflicting. He also noted the jury acquitted them on most charges. Trump said at the Hammonds' original sentencing, the judge noted that they were respected in the community and that imposing the mandatory minimum 5-year prison sentence would shock the conscience and be grossly disproportionate to the severity of their conduct. As a result, the judge imposed significantly lesser sentences. The Obama administration, however, filed an overzealous appeal that resulted in the Hammonds being sentenced to 5 years in prison. This was unjust. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the U.S. government must rapidly reunite 63 children under the age of 5 who were separated by immigration officials after crossing into the United States from Mexico or face penalties, according to a judge's ruling on Tuesday. Judge Dana Sabra in U.S. District Court in San Diego told government attorneys he would not extend deadlines he set 2 weeks ago for the Trump administration to reunite the children under 5 with their parents by Tuesday and 2,000 other children by July 26th. Sabra said there are firm deadlines. They are not aspirational goals. Attorneys for the government had asked Sabra to extend the deadlines because they needed time to test DNA to confirm family relationships, run background checks, find parents who were released from custody, and review parental fitness. Chris Meekins, an official with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, which is responsible for the children's care, said our process may not be as quick as some would like, but there is no question that it is protecting children. More than 2,300 children were separated from their parents after U.S. President Donald Trump's administration began a zero-tolerance policy in early May, seeking to prosecute all adults who cross the border illegally. While parents are held in jail to await trial by a judge, children are moved into accommodations managed by HHS. The judge asked the ACLU to file papers on Thursday suggesting remedies if the government had not reunited the children by Tuesday or within immediate proximity of today. ACLU attorney Lee Gallant said the court has a range of options from significant fines to other types of relief. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
It's the video sensation that's taking the internet by storm. A web series on YouTube passed the 100 views mark this week. Titled Andrew and John, the wildly popular webisodes feature roommates Andrew Vanier and John Haney playing fictionalized versions of themselves in unusual situations, mostly set in and around their Chicago apartment.
Dude, did you get my tart?
What's a tart?
Oh, you just texted me a fart.
Their latest short, titled Laundry Day, reached the unprecedented 100-view milestone this week after a heavy promotional push in which the duo posted the skits to their Facebook pages. The hit video features the roommates wearing unconventional outfits while scrounging up enough change to do laundry in their basement. Other popular episodes include Foreign Landlord, featuring John's friend Brett from work, and a video where Andrew suspects John might be a zombie.
Our videos consistently get over 50 views now, but Laundry Day, that's the first one that's really taken off.
Yeah, everyone I know has seen it.
It's completely viral.
This is the Onion News Network. Free Talk Live.
Hey, it is Free Talk Live. As always, we take your calls about whatever you want to talk about on the radio. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
The toll-free number, if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You want to sound better? You can use Skype. Our Skype username is lrn.fm, and we prefer if you sound better. If you want to sound the best, I think Discord is your best option. Jump on our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. There are different chat rooms in there, but the top one on the list is the Discord on-air call-in line room. You just hop in there, we'll join you, and you'll be on the radio with us, sounding almost like you're sitting in the studio with us.
And if you are calling in on something other than a telephone, make sure you have headphones. That way we're not getting echoes.
Yeah, did that happen recently on the show?
Yeah, there have been a couple of the Discord callers that I don't know if they're using some kind of speaker system, but there's horrible echo.
Yeah, most of the time, though, Discord's pretty darn good, especially if you use your cell phone. Then it's like easy. You don't even have to really configure anything. We're going to actually go straight to the phones to start things out here tonight. But on the way, Darryl, you've got an update on a story we covered a few years ago here on Free Talk Live about the Cannabis Church in Indianapolis. Yes. And we'll get into that. Coming up, your calls and thoughts, though, of course, are welcome. Also, another update worth sharing is Trump has pardoned the Oregon ranchers. You may remember the standoff situation from a couple of years ago at the Malheur.
Different situation.
No, it's the people who sparked that standoff situation. So he didn't pardon the people in the standoff. Many of them were actually found not guilty at a jury trial. But we'll give you more on that here, and, of course, your calls first. We go to Milton in New York, listening via the TuneIn app. Hello, Milton.
Hello, how are you?
Good, you're on the air.
Okay, you probably remember about a month ago when they had the Supreme Court ruling on the guy, whether the one baker should be forced to bake the cake for the gay couple. And I was wondering, why are so many libertarians, or at least so-called libertarians that I've talked to, on the side of, the government should force the baker to bake the cake?
Wait, libertarians are on the what? Say that again?
The only person in the Libertarian Party that I'm aware of that says that the government should have forced the people to bake the cake was Gary Johnson.
Yeah, and I'm wondering why is that?
Because he's not a libertarian.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean by that, Conan? Because he ran for the Libertarian Party as the presidential candidate. When you say he's not a libertarian, what do you mean?
He just broke the non-aggression principle right off the bat. If he's using force, if he's forcing someone else to do something against their will, against their own, violating their rights to just do what they want, then he just broke the non-aggression principle.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, so the libertarians are supposed to adhere to the non-aggression principle, and presumably their presidential candidate should be a standard bearer, should be somebody who is consistent and applying that principle, which says you should not use or advocate for the use of aggressive force to achieve your political or social goals. That's the statement you're supposed to sign when you join the Libertarian Party, which he supposedly must have signed at some point in order to become its presidential candidate. But clearly he's disregarded it, or clearly he didn't understand what he was signing, because he has not been even a close to consistent supporter of the non-aggression principle. And he was an embarrassing candidate because of that. Whereas in the past, the Libertarian Party, back in 1996 or 2000, had those standard bearer kind of people who are out there, like Harry Brown, who was had some great books that he put out there as to why the government doesn't work. He would constantly, use the refrain that government is force, and talk about how all the government aggressive force has all these unintended consequences. You never heard Gary Johnson talking about that. All he talked about was watered down viewpoints on specific issues, and that was it. And it was really sad. So,
I think the problem was he was a sellout. I mean, because I think he was the type of guy who pretty much just watered down libertarianism because he wanted to appeal to more mainstream voters instead of actually being a staunch libertarian and actually being a staunch supporter of the non-aggression principle. So I think because of that, he was being a sellout.
Absolutely. And he wouldn't have been able to get away with it if it weren't for supporters within the party, because if we didn't have a bunch of hacks within the party who don't adhere to the principle, then he never would have gotten the nomination.
Right. There's unofficially the shiny thing
caucus within the party.
Yeah.
To where, this person has a name. He's got name recognition.
He was a politician.
He'll bring us votes. That's how Babar wound up getting the nomination Babar, the elephant, wound up getting the nomination in 2008.
Bob Barr's not really overweight or anything like that, but
he's a Republican. He had a name recognition.
He's not a libertarian. That was the problem there.
Babar the elephant. I'm not using that as he's an overweight man, but his name, if you say it fast, sounds just like the cartoon elephant.
Okay.
Bob Barr was a Republican. Their animal is the elephant. Babar the elephant within the big tent of the Libertarian Party.
Thank you for explaining that to me. It's crystal clear now. Go ahead, Milton.
Do you think that's why they got Bill Weld too for vice president? Because I mean, this whole idea that like you said, Bob Barr, like he was a congressman. I think Bill Gravel also ran that same year. But then, and then also with the case of Gary Johnson, he was a 2-term governor.
Yeah, that's the exact same thing. It was the same group of people who got Johnson put in, as got Weld put in, and now Weld is going to go for it again. He's going to go for the presidential nomination, it sounds like.
That's the speculation, and I hope not.
Yeah, it was really bad news. So thank you, Milton, for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. And, of course, we'll keep you up to date as the Libertarian Party drama continues to build towards the next presidential election. They just had their convention for 2018 last weekend, I think it was. Not this past one, but the one prior to that.
Right.
And you went there, and there were some good things that happened. We did kind of a recap of that last week, so if you want to hear more about that, you can go download those episodes of the show. Let's get into some of these updates here, Darryl. You've got the story out of Indianapolis where the Cannabis Church was making headlines a couple of years back, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I feel like, at this point.
I don't think it was even that far ago. I think it was probably like a year and a half.
Okay, well, either way, they were making headlines because they made a big to-do about the claim that they were going to have services. They're going to open a church and have services where people could smoke cannabis, and they backed down and never did it.
There was a piece of legislation that was adopted, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. And the creators of this first Church of Cannabis wound up saying, if we just say that it's a religious sacrament, then we can wind up doing whatever we want. But I pointed out at the time that no, the statute says if there's a compelling interest, then the state can prohibit whatever, and the state is going to argue we have a compelling interest to make sure that nobody ever uses cannabis ever.
Right.
And
what did they argue?
It went to court, and on Friday, the judge in the case ruled that the members of the First Church of Cannabis will not be allowed to use marijuana as a religious sacrament as long as it is illegal in the state of Indiana.
Awful.
The church had argued they should be allowed to use marijuana for religious use under the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, but Marion County Superior Court Judge Cheryl Lynch rejected the view, stating that the state has a compelling interest to prohibit marijuana to fight drug trafficking. In her opinion, she wrote, and this is not the full opinion, the undisputed evidence demonstrates that permitting a religious exemption to laws that prohibit the use and possession of marijuana would hinder drug enforcement efforts statewide and negatively impact public health and safety. She also noted that police would have a hard time differentiating between religious and non-religious use of cannabis.
Indeed. She is right about that. It would be very hard to differentiate that.
The article here from UPI.
Of course, the idea that you need to protect people from a flower is pretty ridiculous.
Right. Continuing here, she says, it is compelling and appropriate to treat the illicit drug market in a unitary way.
Now, was this, I missed it, was it state court? Was this the state district court?
Marion County Superior Court.
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk more about this coming up here in moments. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here. Bring up whatever's on your mind. This is Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown. But these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The Crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the Crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the Crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the Crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the Crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open your Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. blinkprotect.com/FTL to save 15%. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You dial toll free to take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty, then freedomsphoenix.com has it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. It's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. Darryl, you were telling us about the update on Indianapolis, and you did check the dates, and it has been about 3 years.
Yeah, which is surprising, but at the same time, stuff just sort of runs together.
Derek J. was, I think, actually out there for it. He hadn't yet moved back to New Hampshire, I think, at the time that happened. And so they made this big hubbub about how they were going to create a cannabis church, and they were going to have smokeouts at the cannabis church as part of their sacrament.
Right.
And then they backed down because the city police were threatening.
Yep.
And they decided they were not going to do it, and instead filed this lawsuit.
Correct.
Saying, well, under this particular act that was a local Indiana thing that was passed at the state level, that we should be able to do this as our sacrament. And it would seem to me, why not just argue it under the freedom of religion, like under just the basic freedom of religion, rather than arguing it underneath a particular political, statute?
Oh, you're trying to apply some logical consistency here.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it would have any extra ability to succeed on the merits, but at the very least, you'd be arguing from a constitutional freedoms perspective rather than...
Right, which would mean that they would need to be logically consistent, but their entire thing has not been logically consistent.
From day one, is what you're saying. Yeah. So, no surprise, just this last week, the court, a superior court in Marion County... ruled in favor of the state, saying
that there's a compelling state interest in making sure that while marijuana is illegal, that the police can enforce the drug laws, and that it would be difficult for police to differentiate between religious and non-religious use. Adding, it's compelling and appropriate to treat the illicit drug market in a unitary way. The Attorney General for Indiana, Curtis Hill, praised the ruling, saying, I appreciate the court's fidelity to both the law and common sense.
Thank goodness we can now continue prosecuting marijuana smokers in Indiana.
Yep.
Adding, Indiana's law against the possession, sale, and use of marijuana protects the health, safety, and well-being of Hoosiers statewide.
Right, because no one's ever been able to get their hands on marijuana in the state of Indiana.
When the state has justifiable and compelling interest at stake, no one can evade the law simply by describing their illegal conduct as a exercise of religious faith.
I have to wonder in what other, and I've never done the research, I bet somebody has out there, but in other cases, this must have been argued before on a constitutional basis, like the Rastafarians or whatever.
Probably.
It must be somebody who has actually gone up to like a state Supreme Court level or higher with a case like this. And I imagine the arguments are similar as far as state having, the state having a supposed compelling interest to override your constitutional right of religious freedom, your right of privacy, your right of, owning yourself and all of that stuff. And say, there's a plant out there and some people have fun with it, so therefore no fun allowed in Indiana. And I mean, it's just insane, and it's just so tragic, and it really just shows that you don't have a religious freedom in the United States if the state decides they have an objection to it. And to me, the use of psychedelics is absolutely a spiritual path. It's absolutely a religious freedom. I would say all the way on up to, LSD or mushrooms, you name it. It shouldn't stop at just cannabis.
Right. Bill Levin, who founded the church in 2015, said, cannabis is safer than Curtis Hill. It should be noted. Curtis Hill's the Attorney General. And
yeah, of course it is.
I thought he was just making the point because the UPI article doesn't go into details here. I thought he was just saying that, like this guy, he's a government agent, that he oversees all of the prosecution of stuff.
He's a bad man. He's hurting people.
Well, apparently, he actually is hurting people. Attorney General Hill, according to CBS 4 Indianapolis, is facing calls to resign over allegations that he's been groping some people.
Ooh,
so he actually is hurting some people outside
Allegedly,
of his, job as the Attorney General.
Oh, he didn't do it in the office? He did it outside, like just random.
Well, it's not part of his official thing of
sure, but the question is, where did he molest somebody? Did he molest somebody inside the office? Was it part of a power, differential, right? Like where somebody who's in charge, he's the district attorney.
Let's see here.
Forcing himself on the secretary.
Candelaria Reardon, fifth-term Democratic state representative who serves the 12th Indiana House District, wrote about her encounter. She said she and fellow lawmakers, staff, and others were celebrating the end of the legislative session on March 15th when Hill entered the party by himself. She said she was surprised because she had not seen the Attorney General attend an end-of-session gathering before. Quote, as we were exchanging pleasantries, Curtis Hill leaned toward me as if he could not hear me and placed his hand on my back and slid his hand onto my buttocks and grabbed it.
Oh, my.
I said, back off, and walked away as the staffer with me stood shocked. According to her account, Hill came back later in the evening, put his hand on her back again, and said, that skin, that back. She
Wow.
recoiled.
What a guy. You think he was drunk or just drunk on power?
Possibly both.
Yeah.
She continues to me, he was not the Attorney General or a married man or a religious man or a Republican. He was the man who put his hand on my skin and my butt, and I felt I needed to address it face to face.
And she had a witness, you said. At least one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lunch with a fellow legislator changed her mind, however. She discovered that after she went home, Hill allegedly groped another woman. She says, I realized that this was bigger than me, and I had an obligation to report it to the House leadership to protect these women and many others from Curtis Hill's deviant conduct. These young women came to Indianapolis to be mentored and taught professional conduct, not to be assaulted.
Oh, man. Oh, I hope they put him over a barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, it couldn't have happened to a nicer
General
guy.
has opened an investigation. This from CBS 4.
So, yeah, you know, it's interesting, these prosecutors and these government people, their hypocrisy just knows no bounds. This man pretending to be protecting people when he, in fact, is allegedly molesting people.
Bill Levin, again, founder of the Cannabis Church, has vowed to appeal the ruling.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, it definitely needs to be appealed. I wish they would have been arguing from a constitutional viewpoint in the first place. It may still be at a dead end when they take it forward. But either way, it's definitely good news. If you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And other court-related news, Reuters reporting that Donald Trump this week pardoned 2 imprisoned Oregon ranchers whose sentencing on arson convictions sparked the 2016 occupation of a wildlife refuge, part of a long-simmering dispute over federal land policies in the U.S. West. We'll tell you more about what happened. Maybe you recall the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, the armed standoff that went on for several weeks that we followed here on Free Talk Live. We'll give you the latest on what's happened here. Donald Trump using his pardon powers to set a couple of those ranchers free. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. If you want to join us on the radio, you can do that, 855-450-3733. It is Free Talk Live.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
When you're coping with bad news and the news media come calling, and they will, don't clam up. As notorious political figures find out the hard way, the cover-up can be worse than the crime. So get out in front of unfavorable news about your company, your group, or organization, or yourself. The sooner you confront a negative story, the sooner it will be over. Responding as quickly to negative stories as you do to positive ones enhances your credibility. Hiding embarrassing information or lying will do more damage than damage control. Never stonewall. Tell your side of the story, use specifics, and detail what corrective action has already been taken. Respond in kind. If the issue is emotional, don't sound like a cold, unemotional Mr. Spock. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Is Free Talk Live. You're invited here to join us on the radio. We're talking about the Malheur National Federal Wildlife Refuge in Oregon, where there was a long standoff that went down between some supporters of the Hammond family, where a couple of the Hammonds were sent to prison due to a burn dispute over federal land policies. And there's an update in that case, in that Donald Trump has now pardoned, apparently, Dwight Hammond and his son, Stephen. The armed standoff had followed the judge's ruling that sent the two men back to prison to serve more time after their initial release. And this
so they originally were sentenced, even though there's a mandatory minimum 5-year sentence for the alleged arson, where they were doing some kind of controlled burn, and apparently something on the other side of the property line that was government land. Right. Apparently some of that burned, and they were charged with arson. Mandatory minimum sentence on that was 5 years. The judge said that it would be unfair to put them away for 5 years. So the judge wound up, I don't know if he did like suspend.
He went below the guidelines.
But he definitely went below the guidelines. They were in for several months.
Yep.
I think like 6 to 9 or 9 to 12.
Then put back
They were released, and then somehow some top official in the Obama administration found out, wait a second, somebody with a mandatory minimum sentence didn't serve their mandatory minimum?
Put them back.
Send them back to prison.
Yeah.
And then they were sent back to prison. I think it was late 2015. And then that's what led to the occupation of the wildlife refuge in early 2016.
Right, it happened in the wintertime.
Yes.
When the refuge was technically closed.
Correct.
They went in and basically took it over. The takeover was another flare-up, according to Reuters, in a decades-old conflict over federal control of millions of acres of public land in the western United States. In Oregon, about half of all land is controlled by the federal government.
I bet you there's oil on them lands.
And you want to talk about something that needs to change. I mean, the federal government should not be controlling half of the western United States, or more than half.
But they're only keeping it safe for our future generations, Ian.
Yeah, and unusable and off the market, so no one can do anything with it.
But if Walmart was to move in there, they'd clear it to desert.
Oh, Conan, get real. Walmart would only wind up moving in if they got the land for free.
All right, if Amazon moved in there, they would clear it to desert.
We're going to get to Amazon coming up here in a little bit.
They'd only move in there if they got the land for free.
The leaders of the Malheur standoff, including activists Ammon and Ryan Bundy, were cleared of federal charges for their role in the protest of October 2016. To add to that, it was a jury that cleared them in that particular case because the federal government went at them whole hog and wanted to put them in prison for a very long time. Ammon Bundy on Tuesday called the pardon long overdue. He said, quote, "We went up there to prevent the atrocity from happening to begin with, and if people would have listened to us, the Hammonds wouldn't have had to have gone through this suffering," he said in a telephone interview. The pardons are the latest in a series by Trump to have raised questions about whether he's using presidential power to reward political supporters. No! Wait.
Wait, didn't Obama do the same thing with some of his?
Right, but hold on. Obama waited until the final 2 months of his term before he started pardoning people left and right.
But isn't that what's to be expected by a person in a position of power, is that they're going to wield their power to benefit their friends and to punish their enemies? Is that supposed to be a surprise? And people are supposed to be shocked by that Donald Trump might be using his political power in that way?
See, Trump was supposed to be different
from other presidents,
and he's just doing what everybody else did.
He's a little different. He tweets more often, and he's got an attitude which is kind of amusing.
Did you see that apparently he was giving foreign leaders his personal cell phone number?
No.
Yeah.
What's the relevance of that?
Wait, why hasn't the left blown up with this information? Why am I not hearing this on every news channel?
Bad thing
today?
or
yes, because all official correspondence with the president is supposed to be documented. And he was taking private calls from foreign leaders, and then somebody would be like, "Mr. Trump, who were you just on the phone with?" And they would have to try to recreate conversations or something to go in the National Archives. So all official telephone calls to the president are supposed to be routed through this one particular room of the White House so that they can be
even
documented.
Confidential calls, like with military executive types? Really?
Yes.
So does that mean that he's subject to prosecution for that, or they're going to work real hard to make sure it looks legit? Kind of thing.
Probably the latter. Yeah. I don't think that he can be prosecuted, but I also read an article, and I forget where it came from, but it was titled "The Men That Tape Up Donald Trump's Notes," which sounds really weird, but apparently his habit that he's
is to tear notes up.
So once he's done with something, he rips the piece of paper and throws it in a trash can.
Which you're not supposed to do as president.
Again, all presidential correspondence and documents and everything, and that could just be like if you doodle on a piece of paper while you're on the phone with Kim Jong-un.
Right. Is this just more fake news, Darryl?
No.
Because everything is reportedly or allegedly gave out his cell phone number to world leaders.
I read it in three different places.
And like I said, it was 4 days ago. They had 4 days to make this work, and I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard it on local news. I haven't heard it on national news.
So the claim was there are men who are hired to put his notes back together?
Yes, so people that work for the National Archives.
Ooh, the King's men that put Humpty Dumpty
they have to dig
again?
through the trash and then put the things back together and tape them back together so that they can then be sent to National Archives.
Right, because apparently you just can't train Donald Trump differently. You can't say to him, "Look,
you can't
Mr. President,
teach
you can't
an old
do
Trump
this.
new tricks or something.
You can't do this." Apparently he can do it, and they'll.
Well, he's given his job security.
What do you mean?
Hey, Ralph.
These guys,
Ralph, are you the guy collecting today? Hey, here you go. He rips it up into 5 pieces. Hey, you got something to do.
I make the best trash.
I'm not going to be writing any notes for the next hour, so there you go. Tape it back together. Huge.
So, as we pointed out here, back to the Malheur story, there are critics, of course, of this move. Dwight Hammond, who's age 76, and Stephen, his son, were convicted in 2012 for setting a fire that spread onto public land after years of disputes with the Bureau of Land Management. The Hammonds said they were using standard brush control and land management techniques, but the government claimed that in at least one instance they were trying to hide evidence of their slaughtering a herd of deer. Some conservation groups were dismayed at the pardon. Jennifer Racala, executive director for the Center for Western Priorities, called the Hammonds lawless extremists. She said in a statement, "Pardoning the Hammonds sends a dangerous message to America's park rangers, wildland firefighters, law enforcement officers, and public land managers." She said in a statement, the two men were initially sentenced to less than the legal minimum 5-year sentence and then re-sentenced to a longer period, which you would think shouldn't be possible. Like, if you get sentenced to X by a judge, you can, in my opinion, you should be able to have your sentence reduced, but you shouldn't be able to later on have them come back and be like, yeah, you need to come back to prison.
Like,
we need another couple of years out of you.
It's like double jeopardy.
Yeah.
Not really.
Not really, but it's like
it's in the same department.
Yeah. One would think, but there are numerous stories of people that have either appealed their sentence and then been given
a longer
much
sentence,
greater sentences, or something like this, to where somebody's like, "Oh yeah, the judge just he sentenced you incorrectly."
Well, the fact that they're being prosecuted, their crime is being compared to the Oklahoma City bombing.
Wait, who compared it to that?
That's the statute that they were convicted under. The 5 minimum years is federal land. After that statute came out after the Oklahoma City bombing.
How the hell does burning federal land have anything to do with blowing up an Oklahoma City federal building?
That's what I mean. They used that law to
fire
government
land,
federal government.
Really?
Arson.
Okay.
You burned some federal land. It doesn't matter that it was less than an acre.
And that people
destroyed
died
land
in the Oklahoma City building, and nobody died in the
right. And by the destruction of property.
And by the way, I'm calling bull on that herd of deer. If they just burned some grass, there would be bodies, and they would have been all over that story if there was really dead deer out there.
So Trump did the right thing in this particular case. Hopefully, he'll do some more pardons of maybe Ross Ulbricht.
Yep.
Don't get your hopes up, though. I mean, it'd be nice, though, wouldn't it?
Would be nice.
More coming up here in moments. Well, Assange hasn't been convicted of anything.
He's not been charged with anything.
More coming up. Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Our homegrown small business tries to help people just like us. That's why we design and test our handmade products with great care before we introduce them to the public. You can easily find Sunny Bay heating pads on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and search for Sunny Bay heating pads.
Free Talk Live.
Wait till you hear the least popular girl's name for 2004. We'll start with Rack. Crumpet.
Well, Crumpet's kind of funny.
Someone named their little girl Willie. Cannelloni.
Cannelloni.
Lasagna. Tasty. And Biff. Yeah, Biff, the
These
least
are girls'
popular name.
names?
the least popular name.
These
of
are all
2000.
made up, folks.
I
Do
don't
not
care.
believe this nonsense. This is not news.
I don't care. I haven't laughed this much all week.
Oh.
This may be my favorite. Rumpy Pumpy. Now, how could you think that one up? I mean, if you were faking this list, I could understand that you could fake Donald Duck or Scrooge or Pork. But how do you think of Rumpy Pumpy?
Rumpy Pumpy.
RUMPE Rumpy Pumpy.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can join us on the radio here. The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. 855-450-3733. Tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
We got plenty to talk about. Your calls and thoughts, though. We're going to go right to them. We've been discussing the Malheur Federal Wildlife Refuge protest, and what led to that was the imprisoning of 2 men for doing some controlled burns on their lands, and one of them had gotten a little bit out of control, and the federal government came after them and put them in prison for several years. Trump has now pardoned those 2 men. So we'll continue with that. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. And yes, we are available on the Twitch video streaming platform. Most of the time, it is a video game streaming platform. That's what 99, I would say, % of the content is there. But they expanded out kind of their purpose, their categories. They now have a talk shows category. And we joined earlier this year in January, so we've now been there for more than half a year. And it's been great so far. We got over 300 followers on Twitch, and you can follow us there. What does it mean to follow us on Twitch? Well, you go to twitch.lrn.fm. That takes you right to our Twitch video page when we're live. You'll see us live. You can also go back a couple weeks and play back some HD quality archives of the show if you like. And if you hit the follow button, then you will be updated if you've got notifications turned on. And I think that's on by default. But you'll get updated on when it is we go live. So, you know, we're live every single night, 7 nights a week from the same time, 7 to 10 at night Eastern. But sometimes it's nice to get a little reminder about that. You can get one in your email or on the Twitch app, via the Twitch app through its notifications on your smartphone. And then, of course, you can watch or listen to the show through that app is another way that you can get Free Talk Live into your ears, and in this case, eyes, because, again, it is primarily a video streaming platform. And it is our only HD stream. So even though we are on YouTube, they get a much lower quality version of the show. They get a 360p. It's 720p on Twitch. So go to twitch.lrn.fm and don't forget to hit that follow button. And if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, scroll down on our Twitch page and you can read some instructions on how to connect your Twitch and Amazon accounts and send us your 1 Amazon Prime subscription per month. That basically nets LRN a couple bucks out of your Twitch or out of your Amazon Prime. So if you're not already assigning that somewhere, you can assign it to us, and we sure do appreciate it. So once again, it's twitch.lrn.fm as we continue with your calls and thoughts here. We've actually got Jay Noon on the line, on the amp lines. Hello, Jay.
Hey, guys. Well, I wanted to comment about what these ranchers up there in Oregon were doing when this fire happened. I was been listening to you, but I've had engines running and stuff, so you may have covered this. But as a lot of listeners know, I worked in Colorado for a few years, eastern Colorado, which is like high desert. It's very similar, from what I understand, to the land where the Ammons and those guys were from. And so every spring, when it's still kind of rainy, or everything's kind of lush and green, what you need to do is, because of the way the irrigation works, you have to go burn all the tumbleweed and all the weeds that are in the ditches, because it'll plug up all your irrigation pumps and your gates, and it just causes a lot of aggravation and work. And you just go get out there in the spring and you burn this stuff and get it burning. And we got these ditch burners that are mounted on tractors, and you got 200-gallon propane tank or whatever on it, and you drive along, you burn the ditches, and it goes up the ditches, and it usually burns out because either a hayfield or some crop field or something, and sometimes the wind carries it, and that's basically all those guys were doing was maintenance and burning fence lines so they could, work on the fences and, keep their cattle in and get water to their cattle and crop. It's just simple maintenance. And just like one of you guys had said, if they were actually, setting a bunch of deer on fire, which would be impossible. I mean, deer literally jump over 10-foot fences. You're not keeping wild deer in any kind of area. You're not. They're going to outrun the fire. They're going to be able to get away. So that's just ludicrous right there. But they were just doing a normal practice, and this was like, I honestly, then maybe you guys brought it up, but it's like these guys, Obama administration gave these guys the same treatment as Ross Ulbricht by sending them back to make an example of these farmers.
Jay, I've got a question. On the deer thing, I had heard the claim, and I don't necessarily believe the claim, but the claim was that they had poached some deer, and they were just trying to burn the bodies of the deer. Like, they had pulled all of the meat, and then they were just trying to, hide the fact that they had poached some deer by burning this land.
So, I know of operations that, cremate horses, because I've delivered horses there before.
Yep.
It takes a lot of fuel to burn, literally, I can't remember what it was, but the amount of fuel it would take, and I can't do the calculation in my head, to burn a 1,000-pound horse, and I know deer are only a couple 100 pounds, but a grass fire is there's not enough fuel, and any rancher is going to realize that, and you're not going to burn bones. I mean, at this crematory thing at it's Yukon, Connecticut is where they do it, and Storrs, Connecticut, and they get a big veterinary program. And the guy was telling me the amount of heat that you have to put in. This thing is literally would melt steel, because to burn bones, bones take such an astronomical amount of heat to burn. And anybody who works with any kind of livestock understands this, because especially when you butcher animals, they'll a lot of times, if they got a big brush fire going and you butcher cows and stuff, you throw a lot of the carcasses in there, and you'll find all the bones when it's all done. So that's just ludicrous.
Crematorium goes up to between 1,400 to 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. The bones don't actually burn; they just break down.
Yeah, you know what they're doing wrong, don't you? They're not using jet fuel.
Oh, right. Well, and then, but I've also been a firefighter. If Mark was there, he could test this also. The thing is when you have brush fires and grassland fires, it moves quick. I mean, you'll see actual soda cans that are just a little bit charred, and you'll see glass bottles where just the stickers aren't totally burnt off them, but they're melted in these grassland fires, because
you're saying there wouldn't be you're saying the fire wouldn't be there long enough to burn significantly any kind of bodies.
It won't even start old hardwood fence posts on fire, really. And telephone poles, they don't even really start on fire.
Anything else you want to clear up here tonight?
That's just about it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks
for the call. Jay Noon on the line there on the amp lines. You can join us here. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Of course, you can bring up whatever's on your mind. We're talking about the Oregon ranchers who've now been pardoned by Donald Trump. There is a push to try to get Trump to pardon Ross Ulbricht, who is the creator of the Silk Road, the world's first underground drug marketplace that has been sentenced to two life terms in prison plus 40 years for the horrible crime of creating a website.
Yeah. Probably not going to happen. See, these two guys are Tea Party-ish.
Yeah.
Whereas Ulbricht's a
libertarian.
He's a straight-up anarchist.
Yeah. I don't know. Would he describe himself as an anarchist?
I don't believe so, but
he
would describe himself as a libertarian.
Trump and everyone who wouldn't pardon him would consider him an anarchist.
Yeah, I mean, you're right.
Regardless of how you define it.
There's no political benefit to Trump for pardoning Ross Ulbricht.
Donald Trump would probably wind up, if Thomas Jefferson were alive today, Jefferson would probably be described as an anarchist by most, mainstream Republicans.
Though Trump did get some libertarian votes.
That won't
so
matter.
He might. I mean, it's not going to matter, but I mean,
he's not going to pander to the libertarians.
Yeah, exactly. But if he was really, wanting to appease his peeps,
he didn't have to. Those libertarians who voted for Trump were all just a gaggle over, "Oh, Trump, he's so libertarian. He's more libertarian than other people." And so they were real excited about him. Trump didn't have to do anything to get their votes.
Yeah.
He's certainly not going to pander to him. I really would love to believe there's a chance, but I can't. I could not possibly create any hope in my mind at this point, and it's sad.
Well, maybe his mom should go sit down with him and tell him what's up.
If she could get an appointment with him, it wouldn't hurt.
Yep.
And wasn't there a story about the football players meeting with Trump because he'd asked for a list of people to pardon
They
or
didn't
something?
get a chance to meet with him. They put an open letter in the New York Times. Yes, the people that were kneeling during the national anthem instead of standing, they did write a letter, and we covered that a couple of weeks ago on, I believe it was a Thursday.
Yeah, I wasn't here for that. So the letter was written not to Trump directly, but to the New York Times?
It was an open letter to Trump that was published in the New York Times.
Now, was this after Trump said, "Give me a list"?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So presumably Trump saw that, is the idea?
He definitely had the opportunity, whether or not he actually read it, whether or not his staff read it and then relayed to him.
Yeah, I'd hope they would have sent him a copy at the very least.
I'm guessing they probably did. Yeah. But again, whether or not he actually read it
is another question.
Is a completely different question that only Donald Trump knows the answer to.
Darryl, he's got people to read it for him.
Indeed.
They might not have even read it, just opened it up. Oh, one of these.
Our toll-free number for you tonight is 855-450, free like freedom. Conan's going to talk about the latest from Amazon with maybe getting away from using the postal service.
Yep. Space Amazon.
Plus Sesta Fosta. And I did promise the Space ISIS. Thank you for the reminder, Darryl. We might get that
Amazon.
Too. It's Free Talk Live.
Hello, this is Dr. Bill Deagle, MD of NutriMedical.com, announcing the breakthrough Red Deer Velvet DR. It delivers the protected building blocks of all organs and tissues, allowing your own stem cells as architects and engineers to regenerate you. Not since fetal life, when aging does not occur, has such an amazing NutriMed been available to help heal you and regenerate you. Anti-aging requires that you correct mineral, activated nutraceutical, and jump the gene defects and poor diet you have to deliver the cellular tools for regeneration. You must remove old damaged cells and replace them with your young healthy cells to wind the biological clock to a younger you. Order your Red Deer Velvet DR now at NutriMedical.com 24/7 or 888-212-8871. That's NutriMedical, N-U-T-R-I, Medical, MEDICAL.com, or call our order line 888-212-8871.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 11th, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.92 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,250 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,380. Antiwar.com reports the Israeli government issued a statement announcing a new crackdown on the Gaza Strip. They said the new sanctions against the Strip are aimed at punishing Hamas for the use of flaming kites and cross-border attacks. The crackdown includes the closing of Gaza's lone commercial crossing for an indefinite period of time. Israel also will severely limit the ability of Palestinians to fish off the coast of the Gaza Strip. The Israeli military issued its own separate statement saying that the crossing at Kerem Shalom would remain open to a limited amount of humanitarian aid during the closure. They offered little indication on what conditions there were for easing the new sanctions. The flaming kites have set fires to forest and farmland and have done some damage, though inflicted few casualties. The timing of the new crackdown is curious, however, coming amid talks of an internationally brokered ceasefire. New restrictions are likely to raise doubts among the Palestinians that Israel is in the mood to make a deal.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
UPI reports President Donald Trump on Tuesday pardoned 2 cattle ranchers convicted of arson in a fight against the federal government that later sparked the occupation of a wildlife refuge in Oregon. Stephen and Dwight Hammond were convicted in 2012 of intentionally setting fires on public lands under a domestic terrorism law after having served several months in jail for the same offense. The decision sparked a protest 4 years later by Ammon Bundy and others who took over the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge in Harney County, Oregon for 40 days in January and February 2016. They argued the Hammonds were victims of federal overreach. On Tuesday, Trump said evidence at the Hammonds trial over their responsibility for the fires was conflicting. He also noted the jury acquitted them on most charges. Trump said at the Hammonds' original sentencing, the judge noted that they were respected in the community and that imposing the mandatory minimum 5-year prison sentence would shock the conscience and be grossly disproportionate to the severity of their conduct. As a result, the judge imposed significantly lesser sentences. The Obama administration, however, filed an overzealous appeal that resulted in the Hammonds being sentenced to 5 years in prison. This was unjust. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the U.S. government must rapidly reunite 63 children under the age of 5 who were separated by immigration officials after crossing into the United States from Mexico or face penalties, according to a judge's ruling on Tuesday. Judge Dana Sabra in U.S. District Court in San Diego told government attorneys he would not extend deadlines he set 2 weeks ago for the Trump administration to reunite the children under 5 with their parents by Tuesday and 2,000 other children by July 26th. Sabra said there are firm deadlines. They are not aspirational goals. Attorneys for the government had asked Sabra to extend the deadlines because they needed time to test DNA to confirm family relationships, run background checks, find parents who were released from custody, and review parental fitness. Chris Meekins, an official with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, which is responsible for the children's care, said our process may not be as quick as some would like, but there is no question that it is protecting children. More than 2,300 children were separated from their parents after U.S. President Donald Trump's administration began a zero-tolerance policy in early May, seeking to prosecute all adults who cross the border illegally. While parents are held in jail to await trial by a judge, children are moved into accommodations managed by HHS. The judge asked the ACLU to file papers on Thursday suggesting remedies if the government had not reunited the children by Tuesday or within immediate proximity of today. ACLU attorney Lee Gallant said the court has a range of options from significant fines to other types of relief. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Following reports of a newly posted job listing at area marketing firm Swenson Digital, The Onion spoke to a few of the 1,400 applicants who claim they are, quote, absolutely perfect for this position.
When I first saw this opening, I knew it was right for me. I've got tons of experience. I've got all the skills they're looking for.
If you look at my resume, I've got everything they're looking for. I mean, I've held similar jobs like this in the past. I'm extremely driven. I really think this is going to work out.
I've got a BA in marketing, which the posting said was recommended, so I think that'll bode really well for me. I've had plenty of team experience, and I think that would stand out. Not to mention the fact that I'm great with
web design and HTML, and pretty proficient with Excel and PowerPoint. Also, I think the culture is
very me, you know? I think I'd fit in well with the other employees. I also think I had a great
resume and cover letter. I think as soon as they interview me, they'll see I'm the perfect candidate.
As of this video's release, Swenson Digital had extended a job offer to an applicant who happens to be a friend of the boss's son.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live, launching into the second hour of the program. I wanted to play audio last night, and I just never got around to it, and so I want to do that coming up here tonight. About Space ISIS. We will share that with you.
Space ISIS.
On the way here tonight. With you in the studio, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Plus, coming up, Amazon shaking up the delivery business, potentially. We'll talk about that, Conan, because you've got the inside scoop on it.
Well, I'm
on
interested, but they haven't sent me any special material like, because you're a merchant, here you go. You've got preference over all the other scum out there.
You're paying attention, so we're going to get to that story, and of course your calls and thoughts are welcome. Let's go to the phones and to the fun we've got on our Discord on-air call-in line room. It's Mike in Canada. Hello, Mike. You're on the air.
How's it going, guys?
Great.
Okay, so my topic is first, actually, I want to say I found the show yesterday.
Oh, wow. Welcome.
Tom Woods, I think, had given you guys a mention or whatever.
Cool.
And to be honest, as I was listening to the podcast, I just typed it in, and I found you guys, and I started listening. And unlike every other libertarian podcast, with a few exceptions that are notable, I didn't turn it off right away.
Wow, thanks.
And I actually, I listened to it. I probably listened to only like Monday and Tuesday, right?
Okay.
And I really enjoyed the way that you guys get into it, and especially the way that you actually talk through issues on the fly. Like, it's not just a bunch of rehearsed positions, and because of that fact that it's so flexible, you guys actually get somewhere sometimes. And sometimes. I hate where you get. But then sometimes you get other places. It's interesting, right? And so I just want to commend you on that first.
Hey, thanks so much. Glad to hear that Tom Woods advertising is working. We did a little trade deal with him. So we've been promoting Tom Woods, and he's been promoting us, and apparently he's got people listening to his show that hadn't heard of us, so that's good. That's what we were hoping for.
The
He
metric
definitely
for
has
success
people
there-
listening to his show.
The metric for success there is one new listener.
So far that we know of.
You know of. Okay,
Not everybody
anyway.
calls in. Most people who listen will never call. So you are
That's
a very
very
special
true.
person because of that.
Very true.
Anyway, go ahead with what were you calling about
Okay,
tonight?
the police.
Yeah.
Melanie got us into this mess.
This is
I
our
feel
Monday
like,
night
but-
co-host, Melanie, just for
Yes.
listeners who don't know.
And so she got us into the mess where all these calls are coming in, and I think it's because it's a real hot button issue.
Yep.
And she said one thing that is totally obviously wrong, but she said another thing that's really not obviously right. And that.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Oh, no.
Hello? He's still there.
He's blinking, though.
What
happened?
His mic audio just died. I don't know what happened.
Maybe his mic got pulled out.
Maybe he'll come back.
Maybe he said something that Canada doesn't like.
All right, when was Melanie? When was Melanie last on?
She's on Mondays.
So what did you guys talk about?
Well, so Melanie has the position that the police are constantly aggressing. And this isn't an uncommon position. This is basically
just by their very existence.
Right. If you put on a police uniform, you are an aggressor.
Even if it's your first day and you have not yet punched the clock to officially begin your day.
I would agree with that. They are aggressing indirectly. Some of them are actually out there directly aggressing, but in an indirect way, yes, they are aggressors.
Okay.
Just for putting a uniform on and getting a paycheck.
Do you believe that means they should be shot and killed?
On site.
Do not.
Okay. So that is the position of people like Melanie. And so she is representative of a particular group in the libertarian movement. Used to be Christopher Cantwell held this position when he was a libertarian.
When he claimed he was a libertarian.
Yeah, when it's all right to shoot a cop.
Now he's gone and turned into a racist, and that's a whole other story. But
and a cop lover too, right?
And he does love cops now. Yes, that's right. So So people like Christopher Cantwell, like Melanie, and then there's a few other folks in the chat room, Gene the Christian Anarchist, Big Loaf, they called in to defend Melanie over the last 48 hours on this particular topic. This is not an uncommon view amongst libertarians who are rightfully angry about the police abuse out there, who are rightfully upset. I get it. The cops, when they hurt peaceful people, it's intolerable, it's awful, it's outrageous. Something needs to be done about that. One thing would be to end all victimless crimes and make it so the cops aren't enforcing.
That would help so much, because then they wouldn't have they'd lose a lot of their funding,
and they wouldn't be doing drug raids.
They would probably have to their employment would go crashing.
Well, maybe. I mean, or you can reassign.
So what do we have, like 70 in here in Keene? I mean, that'd probably go down to 20.
No, there's only like 40 something.
I think,
uniformed officers.
No, I think they have 70 slots. They probably only have 40 officers. They're having a hard time filling those positions.
That's news to me. I hadn't heard they'd expanded that much.
No. They have those slots available, and they're unable to fill them.
Okay, I'd have to see some stories about that. I had not heard that news. The last I heard was several years ago they got some federal funding to take it from like 40 to 44 officers. So I had not heard anything about it increased to a potential 70.
And one thing that's interesting, and we covered this at the time in, I believe it was Dallas a couple of years ago when some cops wound up getting shot, they wound up seeing their application numbers skyrocket.
Mm-hmm.
Because a bunch of people decided, oh, well, I want to be a cop so that I can wind up protecting the community, which is completely opposite of the theory that if you just shoot cops, nobody will want to be a cop.
Yeah. And one of the callers tried to trot that one out last night. Let's go back to Mike. He's called in actually with a different line here, or a different username. Mike, are you with us now?
Yes. Sorry, I have no idea what you heard or didn't hear.
Basically, I don't know where we were. It's what we've been sort of talking about.
You were going to say Melanie said something wrong, and she said something right.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. That was a long. I feel like I've been on an epic rant because you guys I just dropped the audio and I talked forever, and so I will pick up from there and I'll try and be brief. I apologize.
Okay, go ahead.
The thing that she said that was that was wrong, is that obviously the police perform many very important functions in society. All of those functions, or not all of those functions, sorry, but there's a certain amount of functions, right, that we could all agree on that would occur in any society, in an anarchy and whatever.
Like investigating a murderer.
Investigating a murderer,
a rapist,
petty assault,
arson,
rapist, certain property crimes, etc. Right?
Sure.
So we can all agree on that.
I think so.
And to the extent that they enforce that, they're doing a commendable good. And we don't want to lose sight of that.
Even though they're doing it under a coercive system. So it is important to keep that in mind, and I understand that's one of the reasons why people consider them to be aggressors. Maybe that would have been your argument, Conan, because...
No. See, the thing that she said, we can all agree on that. And to the extent that she vilifies the entire profession, she's actually casting aspersion on something that's very important and sacred. But what she said that was so right that I didn't hear other callers elaborate on was the point about the uniform. Because I think her point was that the mere act of wearing a uniform constitutes aggression, and I think that she's 100% right in a very subtle way that I didn't think that enough time was spent on. Because the example I would use is that yesterday, as I was listening to the show, I was standing on a street corner. There were 20 people on my side of the street corner, 20 people on the other side of the street corner. There was no cars in sight. You could tell everyone's itchy to just jaywalk, but there happened to be a police officer standing next to us.
This is the same thing when you drive down the road.
Everybody is just, the whatever, caretakers in the room, or whatever. So we all have to agree, like the teacher's in the room, so we can't talk or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's the little ways, and that's not based on the individual or his actions. It's literally just based on the fact that he's representing the agency which uses force.
Okay, but does that justify icing that cop who was standing there, killing him?
Oh, absolutely not. It's patently absurd. That's
but
absurd.
The viewpoint of I mean, obviously Melanie's not here, so I'm going to do my best to represent that viewpoint. I do not believe this viewpoint, but the viewpoint is, well, okay, you agreed that putting the uniform on is an act of aggression. Therefore, libertarians believe in defending against acts of aggression. Therefore, kill the cop is what their position is.
Well, that position is so juvenile. It doesn't require that much attention, frankly, because again, even in anarchy, people's rights are not absolute. And if you blow on my shoulder, I don't get to murder your family.
Okay.
There's this concept of proportionality, and in this case, the man is stopping you from crossing the street.
The thing is, the people
it's a little aggression, but it's still an aggression.
The people that advocate you should just shoot a cop because cop don't believe in proportionality.
Obviously, I mean,
yeah,
you know.
But their argument is that, well, cops do bad things overall, so therefore it is proportional.
But I stole a paperclip, so therefore death.
No,
that's also an argument.
I understand that.
No one would want to live without the police. I mean, and
Mike, if you got more to say, hang on. We can bring you back here in a moment. Mike in Canada on the line with us here. New listener of the show. Sounding great, by the way, on Discord at discord.lrn.fm if you want to join us there. It's Free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block, and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dynavite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies, grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it, and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dynavite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dynavite.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open the Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime, which is why I chose Blink. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and we, of course, will take your calls about whatever's on your mind. Just take control of the airwaves toll free at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Or hop into our Discord on-air call-in line room, which is where we're going to go back to here with Mike from Canada, talking about this ongoing discussion that has resurfaced again this week, and it tends to resurface over time since libertarians are generally going to continue to disagree on this particular subject, the subject of what to do about police. We'll continue with that here in moments, but I also want to make sure you know that you can't count on the police to keep your home safe. You got to do that, which means that you should probably have a camera system like the Blink Home Security System, which is a wireless camera system for home security. You go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. I should say there's one wire in the system. That's the power cable that plugs in the hub, which then interacts with the wireless cameras that you can put up anywhere in your home or maybe in a small office. Blinkprotect.com/FTL saves you 15% on the already very affordable Blink Home Security System. It's super easy to install because, again, it's wireless. No pulling wires through walls, drilling holes. All the hassles of wired systems completely gone. It's set up within moments after having opened the box. You pop the batteries in and then just put the cameras wherever you want them. Need to move it? No problem. It's wireless. So once again, blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's /FTL like Free Talk Live. Blinkprotect.com/FTL. As Mike in Canada has been doing battle in our chat room here, the Free Talk Live chat with some of the folks who've been calling in, claiming that the police are constantly an aggressive threat and so therefore deserve to be killed. And you did you want to continue to address that, Mike, on the air?
Sure. So I want to go. So back to there's two things, but I think I'd rather spend time on the uniforms because I think that's an interesting thought that she brought up. And
the idea that because a cop is putting on a uniform, he is therefore engaging in a threat of aggressive force, and so that's as far as you agree. That's as far as you agreed with it. You did not agree that that would justify the killing of the cops.
The conclusion is absurd. The conclusion is patently absurd. It doesn't really deserve to be engaged with. Honestly, it's that stupid.
Well, we engage with everything here on Free Talk Live, so
sure. But to the extent that you think that a police officer who comes in potentially on a break in a donut shop, and because he's next to you, do you know what I mean? You have the right to kill him because he has something over 0.000001 of aggressive units or something. That's absurd.
It's insane. Yeah,
it really is.
We keep using the idea that you can just walk up to a cop and shoot him. What? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
There are libertarians who believe that.
Wait. All right. Well, let's look at it in another light. You did decide to jaywalk. You were one of those guys, 20 on one side, 20 on the other, and you decided, you know what? This is a stupid law.
Mm-hmm.
There's no cars here. It's dumb. I'm going to go ahead and jaywalk. And the cop runs up after you and says, "Hey, you, stop right there. I'm going to give you a ticket." And you're like, no, you're not going to give me a ticket. I'm going to keep on walking. Now you're resisting arrest.
Yep.
And then he tackles you. Now you're on the ground. Now do you have the right to shoot him because he is trying to hurt you? He's aggressing against you. Now can you defend yourself?
You can, but should you?
Legally or morally?
Well, you can't do it legally because he's got the uniform on.
Right.
Now if he was just
if he was
just a regular guy, if it was just Darryl tackling me, I could shoot him and get away with it.
Depends on the state.
But
yeah, well, I get your point.
But because he put that aggressive uniform on, now he has special powers.
Right.
And he's got his get out of jail card, and you can't beat it.
Your thoughts, Mike? Go ahead.
Okay, so one thing is there's people in the chat arguing that you guys are strawmanning their position, and that's because you guys are talking about their position in the context of what I said earlier. And so obviously it wasn't in that context when they said it, but they made the claim that any aggression deserves to. So if the uniform is aggression, then they, to be consistent, have to take the same position. And so it's pretty annoying that they don't see that because it's pretty obvious. Secondly, on the point about the police officer in the street, if I consistently disobey, then we will get into a place where the officer is ready to use real force, and the thought that real force could go down becomes credible. But until that, there's a chain reaction of things that need to happen that involve escalation at every point, and the escalation is me as a free person knowing the system I'm in, deciding to engage in a series of interactions that I know will go bad when I have a completely safe option that is minimally invasive.
Yeah, the safe option is to remain a slave.
Well, right, and I don't think that you can describe that.
That's complete hyperbole.
Well, no, I don't think you can describe your actions as escalation. You are not escalating anything by crossing the street without permission or, not at a crosswalk.
Yes, of course I am.
No, it's the cop.
Of course I am.
That's blaming the victim. And that's the kind of stuff that I hear from judges all the time.
Needs to be blamed. Sometimes the victim needs to be blamed.
This is a point at which we're going to disagree, because I hear this from judges all the time. The claim is, you're making me do this to you. Right. And no, I'm not. The claim that they have a system, and so therefore...
What you're saying is true.
Huh?
What you're saying is true. Obviously. What you're saying is true. But there's also a sense in what the judge says is true. And I agree that what you're saying is more true, like more fundamentally true.
Well, the judges, it's only true in their crazy belief system.
The question
is... Just because they have an insane belief system.
And like you've said before, we used to have that belief system. So we have to have a certain base sympathy for the people.
You can have a sympathy, and he just cut the audio again, just cut off there. But you can have a sympathy, meaning you can feel sorry for people who believe this insanity that says that, oh, well, you're doing this, so therefore it completely justifies a cop going and attacking you. No, that is not an escalation on the victim's part. The person who's crossing the street, then being tackled by a cop over that, is a victim. And to blame that victim, to say, well, victim, you live in a society in which the supermajority of people believe that you are a criminal, and so therefore it's completely okay for this cop to do that, and or therefore you're the one escalating this situation. And it is that's part of a sickness. And I can feel sorry for people who felt that way. I have, like you said, Mike, and thanks for the call tonight, by the way. I do appreciate the discussion. I'll be happy to have it with you again at some other point. But, I don't blame people for being mistaken. I think that they are mistaken and they need to be corrected in their belief system to hopefully to the point where they can come to understand that what they've believed is false. They've believed in a fantasy known as the state, which justifies things like this.
Like hurting your neighbor, hurting other people.
Right, as though putting on a uniform and then having men and women in a state capital tell you what to do, enforce all these stupid laws and rules that they've written down, is somehow legitimized by the fact that people believe in it? No, it's a mass delusion. And there's only one way to make that clear to people, which is to talk about the truth. And the truth is, it's not okay for men with guns to rule over us on issues that do not involve,
actual victims and actual hurting other people.
It doesn't matter if people voted for it. And
that's all you have to ask in this situation is the jaywalking.
Where's the victim?
Were you actually hurting anybody?
Yeah.
All right, and now you're going to go ahead and turn around, and it's okay to hurt me now in return?
Right. If somebody
says the fact that a person acted pursuant to orders of his government or of a superior does not relieve him from responsibility under international law, provided a moral choice was in fact possible to him. Nuremberg Principle number 4.
Yeah, if only it was easy to apply that in our court system, because they will back up the cops every time, because it's in their interest to do so, because they must protect the state and all of its aspects from any kind of serious scrutiny. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. If you want to join us, you can do that. You can take control of the airwaves. Coming up, Space ISIS. Is that what we need the Space Force for? Apparently some people actually believe it.
Healthcare reform is confusing. With the loss of the Obamacare mandate, those needing help can now choose an affordable alternative. By joining Liberty HealthShare, you're part of a community of health-conscious Americans all over the country who control their own healthcare costs and choices. Liberty HealthShare is not insurance. It is an association of self-pay patients who unite with like-minded people to share the cost of their medical needs. Neighbor helping neighbor. Learn more now by going to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Tired of being censored by Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Patreon? Well, now you don't have to be. OneWay.com is the free speech and human-friendly social network built just for you. Stop feeding the beast. Every post you make on those evil, anti-human, anti-American perverted sites helps them destroy our families, our country, and our souls. Join One Way today and take back your liberty. Your free speech alternative is waiting for you at OneWay.com. OneWay.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, Government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict, or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to bipcot.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here. 855-450-FREE like freedom. Now the people in the chat room are denying that they ever suggested that it was okay to shoot police. They're denying that. And I'm sorry, that's the way it seemed to me over the last 48 hours from the calls we've received.
This is one of the wonderful reasons I'm glad I'm not in the chat room, because it seems as though like people will say something and then say, that's not what I said.
Well, the good news is there's open phones.
But it's also on the internet, and the internet is a horrible place where people do that all the time.
Right. The good news is it's open phones here every single night on Free Talk Live. So if you feel like you've been misrepresented, which isn't uncommon, right? Like I can't exactly recall what everybody said perfectly. So I do the best I can. And if I get it wrong, open phones, you can call right on in.
Are you talking about
clear it right up?
Are you talking about chat room conversations or actual callers?
No,
into the
callers.
show?
The callers who are in the chat room. So because we have the Discord chat, it allows our callers to actually interact with one another.
But what I'm asking is the conversations that you're referring to were actually on the air.
Over the last 48 hours, starting on Monday night with Melanie advocating it's okay to shoot cops, I think Gene the Christian Anarchist would say it's not time yet. I think he said something about it's not time yet, but he didn't deny that there was anything inherently wrong with the idea. Now, again, if I'm misrepresenting you, phone lines are wide open here.
I do believe there's going to become a time when the act of aggression on the people, on the little man, on the sheep, it's going to come to a point. It comes to a head when the pitchforks and the torches come out, and they're going to defend themselves.
Against the police?
Against the police, against the courts, against these government employees. Mm-hmm. You know, there's going to be schools going to be burnt down. The police is going to be burnt down.
You think so?
I know so.
Yeah.
This is just history repeating itself.
And is that justified?
Well, they're going to. Well, I'm not telling anyone to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that it's the right. You know.
Do you think it'll help?
An eye for an eye.
Do you think that'll help?
I think it'll soothe some hearts, but I don't think.
But is it going to help? Is it going to make the government smaller? Is it going to make the government less aggressive? Is it going to make the government get out of our lives?
This is typically how the cycle works, where we get so big that you know it requires a collapse.
Or is it going to increase
and the collapse
the violence?
And the collapse is going to be painful, and there's going to be a lot of violence, and there's going to be a lot of bloodshed, and the people are going to wake up 20 years later and be like, you know what? This really sucks. We want peace. We're tired of this war. We're tired of this civil war fighting our own people.
Do you think you can get to peace by killing cops?
No, killing anybody is not going to result in peace.
If people start burning down buildings,
as long as we are human the way that we are, until we evolve to the next level, it's the only solution.
Hold on, this sounds almost.
Wait. Let me bring it back to the burn clearing that the Hammonds were doing. It's a cycle. They have to burn those tumbleweeds in order to.
It is a cycle of violence. What you're talking about is a cycle of violence, but somebody has to break that cycle in order for us to get to peace.
Right. This sounds basically like, and I don't want to give the woman any exposure for who she is because she's absolutely horrible, but there was a speaker at Anarchapulco a couple years ago that was advocating fascism and nationalism as a step towards libertarianism because we can't get there from here, so we need a step in between.
Yeah, I'm not saying libertarians should make that step. I'm saying it's going to happen. You're gonna have the return of communism. You're going to have the return of fascism. The same way we had it 80 years ago. It's going to come back. Because
I think that you can definitely say that people will continue a cycle of violence. I think it's a fair prediction to make until somebody breaks the cycle. And that's what is required, right? For abused victims to not turn into their abuser, to not continue that cycle of violence, to say, you know what, I forgive you. I don't want to deal with you anymore. I don't want to see you ever again, but I forgive you. I'm not going to lower myself to your level. I'm not going to become my enemy. I'm not going to become like you by embracing the tools of violence, even though you can justify it as, oh, we're just defending ourselves.
And it's going to be our job to set the example. We need to be the neutral,
peaceful example.
We need to be the peaceful, neutral types.
I totally agree.
And when people are fleeing their governments, we're going to be the ones who are taking them in and sheltering them.
Yep, I totally agree. Let's go to Big Loaf. He's on the line from North Carolina on our Discord on-air call-in line room. Go ahead, Big Loaf.
Yo, gentlemen, good evening.
Hi there.
So, just to clear up some of those things, because I think you were talking about the self, Melanie, and Gene, the Christian anarchist, quote, advocating for killing cops, and you are grossly misrepresenting that.
You weren't supporting that? You weren't supporting people killing police?
No, I was not. But I will tell you what I was doing. Okay. I'm saying that self-defense against aggressive violence is always a just thing, regardless of who that is or what costume they wear.
So you think it's just to kill cops? How's that not supporting it?
So if that's the way that you want to convey it, fine. But
okay, so you are saying you support it.
No. Stop standing up, straw man. I won't allow it. So, but let's just say they're not wearing a uniform. Again, going to Conan's example, you're just crossing the street, right? Somebody tackles you. They're not wearing the costume. Yes, self-defense is legit. What difference does the costume make?
Right. So the difference is, in people's minds, it's okay for the police to do those things because they have the aura of legitimacy surrounding them because of government and people's massive belief in government. People's minds have
nothing to do with morality, right? We're talking morality, not what people think.
Right, and we're talking about what you advocate on the air, and you're dodging what you're advocating, and you're acting like you didn't do it.
I'm advocating that self-defense against aggressive violence is just.
Okay, so you support killing cops.
I'm saying self-defense against aggressive acts is just.
So therefore, if somebody kills a cop and says, "Oh, this cop is aggressing because he put a uniform on," you would say, "I support that," right?
If it's an aggressive action, so if we
can you answer yes or no?
So I wouldn't think that donning a uniform. So Melody makes a good point. I'm not ready to pick up what she's putting down.
Mm-hmm.
I will go this far. Once you throw on the blue lights, if you're a cop and you're pulling somebody for like no seatbelt, which doesn't happen in New Hampshire, I know, right? Yep. And you are unequivocally communicating a death threat.
So at that point,
sure,
you would say, let me just be clear. So at the point at which a cop puts on his blue lights, if somebody then swings around and blows away that cop, you would support that act, correct?
It seems terribly just.
So yes is what you're saying. Just to be clear, you're saying yes, I, Big Loaf, would support killing cops every time they put their blue lights on.
I would support anybody defending themselves against any aggressive action, including that.
Okay, so yes. So the answer is yes, you would support that.
Yeah, but you can't just generalize saying that so-and-so supports killing somebody else, because that's not at all what's going down.
But we're not talking about so-and-so. We're talking about you, Big Loaf. And just to be clear, you did say yes to my question of you would support somebody killing a cop who puts their blue lights on to pull somebody over for whatever reason.
Anybody that is defending themselves against aggressive violence.
This is the kind of dodgy crap I'm talking about here. You can't just
dodgy,
answer the question. Yeah, you are dodging. You absolutely are.
So I'll let you. I'll let you.
You've said yes several times without actually just straight up saying yes. Am I wrong about this? Are you guys listening to this? Am I wrong about this?
He is defending self-defense.
Fine.
Against the police.
Yeah.
He's defending self-defense. Just leave the police out of it. He's defending self-defense against aggression.
But we're talking about the police. We're talking about people wearing the uniforms of the state, enforcing various different victimless crime laws. He's saying he supports their killing.
Who just happened to do a lot of the aggressing.
No doubt about it.
For victimless crimes.
No doubt.
So I mean,
are you on his side, Conan?
I'm telling you that this is where it's going. This is where it's leading.
I'm not asking you where it's going. I'm not asking you what's going to happen.
Let me ask a different question.
Yeah.
I don't support violence.
Let me ask a different.
But I know that it's going to get there, and
okay, that's fine.
Let me ask a different question. The police secretary, whose job is to just file papers, should that person be executed on site because
you keep going to the executing part?
Hold on.
Wait till you're actually aggressed upon. When he's pulling you out of your car, not just turning the lights on, but he's pulling you out of your car.
The secretary gets paid with taxation. The secretary gets paid with taxation, which is stolen funds.
Yeah.
Should they be executed on site?
All right.
Yes or no?
I don't think you're going to get a yes or no out of Big Loaf. He's being very dodgy, but we'll try here in a moment. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Tired of being censored by Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Patreon? Well, now you don't have to be. OneWay.com is the free speech and human-friendly social network built just for you. Stop feeding the beast. Every post you make on those evil, anti-human, anti-American perverted sites helps them destroy our families, our country, and our souls. Join One Way today and take back your liberty. Your free speech alternative is waiting for you at OneWay.com. OneWay.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free here to take control of the airwaves. You can bring up whatever you want. The ongoing conversation amongst the sides of peace and the sides of supporting violence against the police here, which continues tonight. With you in the studio, you've got Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Don't forget, you can join us online. Head over to freetalklive.com. You can become a Free Talk Live amplifier over at amp.freetalklive.com. It's $5 a month, and that's money that we can invest into the show, and we do invest into the show so we can become available on more radio stations around the country. And we can bring new internet listeners on board. You heard tonight about our trade deal with the Tom Woods program. We're actually doing some advertising with Roger Paxton and his show, the Lava Flow podcast. And that should have started, I believe, last week. In fact, Roger's coming in this week to be on the Thursday night show, which I'm excited about. It's always great to have him on. He's going to be making a trip all the way from the seacoast, so a real dedicated journey there. We appreciate that. But if you want to support what we do here on Free Talk Live, which is to say open phones all the time talking about peace and liberty and cryptocurrency on now over 190 radio stations from coast to coast, including some monster stations like WRKO in Boston, which recently joined us. You can support the show directly through your credit card, through PayPal, through Bitcoin, BTC, over at amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. You will get access to special perks, like, for instance, the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only Facebook group, the AMP-only Discord chat rooms, and more. Get all the details. And please, get signed up. Makes a big difference for us. We're trying to raise money to get on the Penn Jillette podcast. We got to raise like $1,000 a month to do that. That would get us just maybe one show if we're lucky. But head on over to amp.freetalklive.com, and you can help us out with that and get those perks as we continue here with Big Loaf, who has also made a false accusation in the chat room here, but that's why we have on-air call-in lines so people can clarify when they misremember things. You said that I accused you of being COINTELPRO, which is, you know, an undercover agent or whatever for the federal government, since you're advocating or supporting violence against the police. And I said you're either that or you're just an angry libertarian, because there are a lot of people who have your viewpoint within the liberty movement, and honestly, it's hard to discern the difference, because when somebody shows up in real life in Keene, New Hampshire, and they're brand new or whatever, they're a new mover here as part of the New Hampshire Freedom Migration, and the first thing they start yammering about is is why people should be violent against the police, my red flags go right up. I don't care whether or not they're an actual federal agent, they're acting like one if they're coming into a liberty community and advocating for the fomenting of violence, or even beating around the bush about it. So to me, that's just a red flag, and ultimately it's not somebody that I want to be seen around. I don't want to be associated with. I'm not interested in that. So, but you are free to call into the show. So please continue on with your screed about why it's okay to kill. Darryl, you had a question for him.
I want him to answer the question.
Yeah, I'm sorry that... Yo, go ahead. There was a question, but I'm sorry that you're so turned off by self-defense. There was a question?
No. I'm not turned off by self-defense. I live in the real world where we have to persuade our neighbors to accept our ideas, and the things you're talking about, which is to say you supporting shooting a cop just because he turns his blue lights on because that's an aggressive act.
I mean, defending yourself. Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want. You doing that, you supporting that, is a position that is untenable to most people, and it is not going to win you any friends or persuade anybody who's not already on your side.
The question, hold on. The question was, and there are people that actually advocate this, do you advocate for, say, the secretary that works at the police department that never gets in a patrol car, that all she does is files paper but gets paid through taxation? Do you believe that that secretary should be shot under the guise of self-defense?
Nah, that does. I mean, I understand the argument. I wouldn't go there, right? I mean, that's not an actual in-your-face aggression, right? She's not going to beat you up. Now, I mean, if she's beating you up and taking the money out of your pocket, then go for it. But I see where you're going with that, and I sort of kind of understand why some people take that position. I'm just not one of them, right? I mean, I'm a man of peace, right? Despite what Ian would say.
Right. So you're a man of peace, meaning that you wouldn't actually take the actions that you support, but you support other people doing violence against the police when they turn on their blue lights.
I mean, I support all sorts of acts of self-defense, yeah.
Okay, just to be clear.
So to be clear, Ian, the type of self-defense that you two keep bringing up, you, Darryl and Ian, is preemptive defense.
I don't know. I'm not advocating any of these things.
It's like you turn your lights on. This could land me in jail. It could, or he could give me a pass and let me go on my way.
Right.
So I am preemptively killing this cop. Where I'm talking about, and I think Olaf is talking about, only in self-defense. So when you're being drugged out of your truck into his cruiser, then it's come to that point where you can defend yourself.
You can.
I mean, that seems
but should you?
Yeah.
And what I keep going back to is that we're coming to a point where we're coming to our own version of the Boston Massacre, where this is actually going to take place. You're going to have a drunken rabble out in the streets who are just sick and fed up with the police state, and they're going to be making a mess. The cops are going to come. They're going to have their riot gear on. Someone's going to get shot.
I don't think you're wrong for predicting things like that, Conan. That doesn't mean you support somebody shooting a cop for putting their blue lights on.
I'm saying shooting a cop is not a very good idea.
I agree with you.
You're going to get yourself killed. It's not smart for you. It's not smart for your family. It's not smart for your friends. True. You're going to get shot, and they're going to take you down, and you're going to
not only that, you'll be used as an example as to why they
as
need
a criminal.
Why we need them. That's what you'll be. You will become the example of why the cops need more guns, why they need more armor, why they need more personal carriers, more Bearcats, and you will be contributing inadvertently. It wouldn't have been your intention because you just wanted to defend yourself against an aggressive cop, but you will contribute to more aggression by the police.
Okay, I believe that.
And let me be clear,
go ahead, Olaf.
Right? Yeah, I'm saying that's a horrible idea. Violence, self-defense or otherwise, should never be the first tool in your bag, right? It's a terrible idea. But that is different from whether or not the act of self-defense is just and moral.
Okay, but that's also different from whether or not you support it. So you're being unclear here. You're saying it's a terrible idea to kill a cop if they turn their blue lights on, even though it may be justified.
Yes, horrible idea. I would not recommend it.
Okay, so that's different than saying you support a thing then, right? So are you saying you don't support it?
You're not listening, right?
I'm listening clearly. That's why I'm asking you a bunch of questions to understand you.
Okay, fair enough. I'm saying it is a horribly non-pragmatic idea. It will probably be a rallying cry, like you said.
Okay.
And
So we agree
wouldn't
on
be
that.
terribly effective.
So are you
Indeed,
saying,
right?
are you rescinding your support in that if you heard about somebody doing that?
No, those are two different issues. Whether or not something is pragmatic,
I'm not
and whether or
asking
not
you
something is
that.
just,
I'm asking you whether you support people doing the act of killing a cop who turns on their blue lights. If you think it's a bad idea, you don't support it. If you think it's a bad idea, you don't support it. If you think it's a good idea, then you do support it.
No, that's wrong. That's a false dialectic. You can both think that it's just and be unpragmatic.
This is what I've been trying to tell you, Ian. Yes, it is just. It is. Yes, it's.
Then if you don't think it's pragmatic,
but it's not a
then
smart
you're
thing to do.
against it. You either support the move or you're against the move.
No, you don't. It's not.
Yes, you can only support or be against this thing. If it's not pragmatic, then you should be against it. If what you're saying is in theory,
for it morally and against it pragmatically.
Okay, so you both support and are against the act? I mean, talk about a confusing position.
I support self-defense.
It's not confusing. You just want to stand up straw men.
Yes, I support self-defense for any reason.
Mm-hmm. But you don't support it in this case.
Because it's not because it's not a smart idea. It's not gonna win you anything.
So ultimately, what you're saying is you don't support it. Then
it's a tool in your bag.
No,
it's a tool in your bag.
He supports it morally.
It's the last tool you should be reaching for.
Support it pragmatically.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So therefore, you don't actually support it because we're talking about people taking actions here, not what's going on in your head. Not what's going on in your mind about whether or not it would be justified if I killed this cop, but whether or not you support people doing it. And now you're changing your tune and you're saying you don't. Thanks for the call tonight, Big Loaf. I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855. Oh, you're not changing your tune? Well, you did change your tune because earlier you said you supported it. Now you're saying you only support it morally, but you don't actually support people doing it because it would be a bad idea. That is not supporting a thing.
No,
it's not.
There's different levels.
I'm talking about the act, not the theory behind the act. You can have all kinds of theorizing about things.
The theory will lead to the act eventually. It's coming. It will lead to the act. You're going to have to.
But you oppose that act.
It's not the best solution.
Okay, so you oppose the act.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was asking about. The act, not the theory, not the libertarian wank fest that goes on around theorizing.
To the act. The act will happen eventually.
I understand that, Conan.
Okay, so
but
I support
you're
the theory.
Against the act.
Yes.
Okay. More coming up here in moments. That's what I was asking about. I don't care about all your master debating. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
How well and how fast does Heart and Body Extract work to improve blood circulation? Listen.
My name is Ellis, and I am 66 years old, and I live in Jacksonville, Florida. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed as having clogged arteries. I had 70% blockage in one artery leading to my heart. They wanted me to go on Plavix, but I refused, knowing the negative side effects.
Heart and Body Extract is a unique balance, synergy, and proportion of herbs reaching from head to toe at maximum absorption around 95% at the cellular level.
Within the first month, I felt a dramatic difference. The heaviness in my legs was reduced, and within 2 months, I felt completely normal.
Your natural organic herbal formula for heart health is Heart and Body Extract. Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract. Call 866-295-5305, 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Lil Drums. Every bit as fun as a full-size Nestle drumstick cone and definitely cuter. Visit us at drumstick.com. Vacations are all about family time, but you don't have to leave home to have fun. Take 1 weekend a month and devote it to family activities. Pull out the board games and puzzles, serve up some treats, or have a picnic. Even without leaving home, you'll feel like you've really had some time away. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 11th, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.92 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,250 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,380. Antiwar.com reports the Israeli government issued a statement announcing a new crackdown on the Gaza Strip. They said the new sanctions against the Strip are aimed at punishing Hamas for the use of flaming kites and cross-border attacks. The crackdown includes the closing of Gaza's lone commercial crossing for an indefinite period of time. Israel also will severely limit the ability of Palestinians to fish off the coast of the Gaza Strip. The Israeli military issued its own separate statement saying that the crossing at Kerem Shalom would remain open to a limited amount of humanitarian aid during the closure. They offered little indication on what conditions there were for easing the new sanctions. The flaming kites have set fires to forest and farmland and have done some damage, though inflicted few casualties. The timing of the new crackdown is curious, however, coming amid talks of an internationally brokered ceasefire. New restrictions are likely to raise doubts among the Palestinians that Israel is in the mood to make a deal. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports President Donald Trump on Tuesday pardoned 2 cattle ranchers convicted of arson in a fight against the federal government that later sparked the occupation of a wildlife refuge in Oregon. Stephen and Dwight Hammond were convicted in 2012 of intentionally setting fires on public lands under a domestic terrorism law after having served several months in jail for the same offense. The decision sparked a protest 4 years later by Ammon Bundy and others who took over the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge in Harney County, Oregon for 40 days in January and February 2016. They argued the Hammonds were victims of federal overreach. On Tuesday, Trump said evidence at the Hammonds trial over their responsibility for the fires was conflicting. He also noted the jury acquitted them on most charges. Trump said at the Hammonds' original sentencing, the judge noted that they were respected in the community and that imposing the mandatory minimum 5-year prison sentence would shock the conscience and be grossly disproportionate to the severity of their conduct. As a result, the judge imposed significantly lesser sentences. The Obama administration, however, filed an overzealous appeal that resulted in the Hammonds being sentenced to 5 years in prison. This was unjust. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports the U.S. government must rapidly reunite 63 children under the age of 5 who were separated by immigration officials after crossing into the United States from Mexico or face penalties, according to a judge's ruling on Tuesday. Judge Dana Sabra in U.S. District Court in San Diego told government attorneys he would not extend deadlines he set 2 weeks ago for the Trump administration to reunite the children under 5 with their parents by Tuesday and 2,000 other children by July 26th. Sabra said there are firm deadlines. They are not aspirational goals. Attorneys for the government had asked Sabra to extend the deadlines because they needed time to test DNA to confirm family relationships, run background checks, find parents who were released from custody, and review parental fitness. Chris Meekins, an official with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, which is responsible for the children's care, said our process may not be as quick as some would like, but there is no question that it is protecting children. More than 2,300 children were separated from their parents after U.S. President Donald Trump's administration began a zero-tolerance policy policy in early May, seeking to prosecute all adults who cross the border illegally. While parents are held in jail to await trial by a judge, children are moved into accommodations managed by HHS. The judge asked the ACLU to file papers on Thursday suggesting remedies if the government had not reunited the children by Tuesday or within immediate proximity of today. ACLU attorney Lee Gallant said the court has a range of options from significant fines to other types of relief. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
It's the Onion Radio News. Raccoon leaders call for the loosening of garbage can lids. This is Doyle Redland reporting. In a 4 a.m. speech at the group's annual Washington, D.C. convention this morning, North American Raccoon Federation President Bristletail called upon homeowners to loosen the lids of their garbage cans, providing the ring-tailed mammals with greater access to discarded food scraps during nocturnal scavenging.
Every time you seal a standard 30-gallon garbage can, as many as 6 raccoons are forced to go without their necessary daily supply of congealed baked beans, rancid cottage cheese chunks, and moldy cantaloupe rinds.
The 26-pound varmint closed his speech with a stern warning that without raccoons, possums could take over the world. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Launching into the third hour of the program, open phones as always. You may take control of the airwaves. People are getting fired up, both on the air and in the Free Talk Live Discord chat on the issue of killing cops. If you want to jump in to on the air, you can call us toll free at 855-450 free like freedom. In the studio tonight, it's Ian
and Conan
and Darryl.
855-450-3733. Coming up, we'll talk about the Space Force and Space ISIS. Also, your calls and thoughts on Skype. Skype username LRN.FM, or you can jump in our Discord on-air call-in line room over at discord.lrn.fm, where you can get on the air with us, sound almost like you're in the studio. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. Ken is listening in the Scranton area of Pennsylvania. Ken, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening, gentlemen. I found your show about a year ago at this time, and it grew on me, and I became a faithful listener every evening.
Thank you.
As a police officer, I just had to call and say, what the hell? Why are you letting people advocate killing us?
Why am I letting it happen?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm on the air opposing it, so how can you say I'm letting it happen?
He's saying you're allowing people to speak it.
We have an open phone show, and anyone can call in and advocate whatever crazy position they want to.
Ooh, it's just you don't know what we go through on a daily basis, and to advocate because someone puts their blue lights on that's self-defense. That is not self-defense.
Right, and that's not what we advocated.
Did not advocate that. The caller
said that was crazy.
The caller advocated that, and we responded to it. So are you upset that we would even allow people to have an opinion? Because that's what we do here.
No, it just really got to me tonight that it's not that it's the first time that I've heard it on the show or advocating any kind of violence toward a police officer. I've been suspended from the police force because I took a drunk driver off the road and took him home.
Good for you.
I didn't arrest him. I didn't charge him. And I was paid the price. I was suspended from my job for a week without pay. And then to listen and hear others degrade us, and then you run commercials on your program for Blink Home Security.
Yeah.
You make a call and the police roll. You can't have it both ways. Where you as long as they're protecting you, it's okay. But if they're not protecting you, then they're bad. And that's the drift I'm getting.
Well, okay, so if somebody wants to have a home security system and wants to call the police to investigate a crime that actually happens against their property, then I think most people who call themselves libertarians would understand that that's, because the police are basically a monopoly on a protection service, there's really the only people you can go to. You've already prepaid for their services through taxes, so there's no inconsistency in us having Blink Home Security on the air with us, but at the same time opposing the monopoly on violence that are represented by the police. There's no inconsistency there.
I will grant you there are cops that take it a little too far. That's no secret.
Well, the problem with the police is that there are police who will do whatever it is they're told.
Yep.
And most of that is hurting peaceful people. Like you said, you were punished for doing the right thing. You took somebody home when they were too drunk to drive, rather than taking them down to the police station and arresting and booking them or even throwing them in a drunk tank or whatever. You did the right thing. You took them home. You actually provided somebody a service that actually has some value. You might have saved that guy's life or that person's life that night or somebody else's life that he might have crashed into.
I more look at it that I saved others.
Sure.
Not him. I saved others.
You could have. Yeah.
I could have very easily arrested him for drunk driving.
Right. And you did the right thing. You were punished for that. And so that shows the corruption and how these police departments are not there to protect and serve, that they are there encouraging their officers to hurt peaceful people. And that's why people are so angry at the police, because they see police hurting peaceful people on a wholesale basis, and it gets people upset. And Conan's acknowledging that by saying he doesn't support using violence against the police, but he understands that eventually you're going to see more of it because somebody's going to snap out there. The people in America who
are seeing it. We already are seeing it.
Well, yeah, you listen to this.
Day,
you listen to this show on a regular basis.
When I go to work,
go ahead.
I have to have eyes in the back of my head. Basically, every brother out there and sister out there have to have eyes in the back of their head. There are nut jobs that just want to attack police. I mean, and that it's just not right. We are there to do a job and a service.
But that doesn't mean that every aspect of the job is good or needed.
No, believe me, I would be okay if I never ever saw another battered woman from a domestic violence call. I would be perfectly fine.
Right, and I don't think anybody is advocating that you should not go investigate domestic violence.
Yeah, no.
What we're advocating is the things where there is no victim. Somebody possessing a piece of a plant, or a college girl that has a beer and she's walking from one college party to another college party and just happens to step on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I saw a kid get tackled over that.
I agree. I've been on the job too long. I'm not chasing you. You're going to run away. I ain't chasing you. I'll find you eventually.
Well, I mean, you shouldn't be finding anybody who has an underage alcohol, because there's no victim in that case. So what we're trying to communicate to the police here, on this show at least, from the hosts, tends to be, hey guys, if you keep aggressing against peaceful people, even though it's your job, peaceful people are going to hate you. And they're going to cultivate that hate so much that it's going to burn up into what Conan's talking about, where people are actually going to use violence against the police. That's not an unbelievable position. It's not a...
They're already doing it. They're already walking into donut stores and shooting dudes in the back of the head.
Yeah.
It's already happening.
They are.
Yeah, and that's not just...
And again, let me please...
Yep.
Let me go back to the drunk driver. If he were to smash his car into another vehicle and kill somebody, then there's a victim. That's a crime,
That's right.
a major crime. Where's the middle ground of victimless to victim then?
Well, if there's a victim, then there's a victim. If there's not a victim, then there's not one. So a girl walking from a college party to another college party with a beer, there's no victim there. Right? Would you agree with that?
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree.
Right.
Some of the laws that we're asked to enforce are nonsensical.
And you do have discretion. As an officer, you may be asked to enforce that law, but you can say that you will not enforce laws that don't have a victim. Now, they may try to punish you within the department for doing that, but ultimately, if you see a college girl walking from one party to another, you can just ignore that, and you could go on and find a real criminal.
I can read the newspaper when such a thing is going on.
Exactly.
I don't even see that.
Ken, thank you for the call. I appreciate hearing from you tonight, and thank you for the conversation. Thanks for coming in with that position. The toll-free number, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE like freedom. Let's continue here and go to David. He's listening to WLOB in Portland, Maine. Hello, David.
Yes, good evening.
Hey, you're on the air.
I was listening to your show tonight and last night. In regard to the issue of supporting shooting police officers, I am against that. However, I do not consent to having police threaten people's lives and actually committing assault and battery upon someone in a traffic stop like what I experienced over 2 years ago in Freedom, New Hampshire.
If you want to tell us more about it, hang on, David. We can bring you back here. And I agree with you, man. They should not be aggressing against peaceful people. And if all the cops were doing was going after violent criminals, murderers, rapists, arsonists, property destruction,
we wouldn't be having this conversation because everyone would love the cops.
Right. It would be very hard for people to critique them.
Nobody ever wrote a song bashing the fire department.
There's more on the way here in moments. It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information, so pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us here on the radio. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, Ian here.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Skype username is LRN.FM. You can also connect to our Discord on-air call-in line room through our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. Bitcoin.com, sponsor of Free Talk Live, would like you to know that SaveItPurse.com is now offering Bitcoin Cash deposits. You can use Bitcoin Cash natively now at SaveItPurse.com, which a lot of people apparently were asking for. That's why they implemented it, because some people, I imagine, are pretty fed up with Bitcoin's high fees and tendency toward, slowing down as it gets more popular and gets loaded up. The system just gets more expensive. Bitcoin Cash supposedly is going to avoid fees like that, and so far they have. But then again, you could argue that Bitcoin Cash doesn't have the same level of usage. But either way, it's there now for you at SaveItPurse.com. SaveAtPurse.com. You can pick whichever side you want, because some people love to fight in the crypto community, whether it's libertarians fighting over killing cops or cryptocurrency advocates fighting over their favorite cryptocurrency. There's a bunch of silly nonsense out there.
And despite what some people think, there can be more than one cryptocurrency that people use.
Yes, and now on SaveItPurse.com, which allows you to save big time on your purchases at Amazon because you're paying with crypto, and it works very well, and I've been using it for, I think, more than 3 years now at this point. Over at SaveItPurse.com is how you can begin the process of learning how to save, and it's super easy, and it's very effective. You want to save 20% on every purchase? I've done it. Or more in most cases over at SaveAtPurse.com.
But Ian, we can agree on a 95% of everything, but these 5% of difficulties that we have, these arguments, we have to have these arguments because
we can't avoid it.
We can't have middle ground. It's either right or wrong.
Well, I'm fine having these discussions. It's open phones here. And let's go back to David in Maine, listening to WLOB in Portland. David, you said you were harmed by the police, ironically, in a town called Freedom, New Hampshire. Tell us what happened, if you can.
Yes. Thank you for taking my call and for putting me on hold.
Sure.
Over 2.5 years ago, I was traveling from southwestern Maine into New Hampshire through the town of Freedom, New Hampshire, on my way up to Conway, New Hampshire, and this was in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
I may have been going slightly over the speed limit, but it was very reasonable road travel conditions. And the dang blue lights went on by a Freedom Police Department bully cop. And I pulled over and handed him my driver license and the registration and all that. And he gave me a verbal warning. I said, okay, fine. And I asked for his name. And then he gave me only his first name.
Mm.
And then...
Surprised he didn't tell you the first name was Officer.
They do that stuff.
Right. And then and I asked for his badge number. And by the way, there was no badge displayed on his uniform. None whatsoever.
Creepy.
And no number or anything like that on his shirt or his jacket. And I respectfully asked for that because I think
it's your right to ask, and you should.
That information.
Right, they should have to answer that question.
Right. Well, this SOB jerk, bully jerk, he got immediately angry in New York Minute, actually 1 second, and he started screaming and verbally abusing me, demanded me to hand back over the driver license and the registration. I pulled my wrist with the information in my driver license away from the window, and he immediately grabbed my wrist, squeezed it hard as hell, and was about ready to, I think, take further action. I dropped everything, and he grabbed it, and he ran back to his cruiser. And then within like a minute or two, he threw everything back at me, including a ticket.
So he was going to give you a warning until you asked him for his badge number for the record, and then he flipped out, attacked you, and gave you a ticket.
And then he had to leave to go count to 10.
That's right. And him grabbing my wrist and squeezing it hard and insinuating other things non-verbally, that was an act of violence, and that was an act of assault and or battery. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely it was.
Uh-huh. So I got really shook up and upset and and other things, scared out of my wits, to say the very least.
Yep.
And I'll tell you something. I have zero trust and zero respect anymore for any cop whatsoever. Not only here in Maine, but most definitely over the border in New Hampshire.
So what ultimately happened with this?
More.
Did you wind up filing a complaint against him? Did you go to court? Did you pay the ticket?
I did not appear in their commercial courts. Let me also preface that I have been studying and researching legal stuff for the last 15 or so years. I took the red pill, if you know what I mean, over 15 years ago.
All right.
So did you pay the ticket?
Did you not pay the ticket? Did you file a complaint against the officer?
Yeah, what happened?
I did discovery, did not get responses to most of my discovery. I went back and forth with the Carroll County Court in Ossipee, never appeared in their court, and I never consented to any of their bull crap, with all due respect.
Mm-hmm.
And they also sent everything in an all-capital letter name. I also know that an all-capital letter name is a legal fiction.
Now, this is a legal theory that has not really been, sufficiently useful in court. But tell me, you haven't been clear. So, do you know if they dropped the charge against you?
I am not certain. All I know is that I travel very carefully whenever I'm in New Hampshire.
So there may be a warrant out for your arrest. There was a court date set, and you did not show up, correct?
I don't know if there was any warrant for my arrest because I never received any such document.
But they did set a court date for you, and you did not show up, correct?
I told them I was unable to appear.
Mm-hmm.
And
did they respond?
I responded back to another response for rescheduling and demanded that the discovery information be provided to me at once, no further arguments. They did not. And I wasn't going to play any more of their happy horse, you-know-what. I wasn't going to play their game anymore.
Yeah, so we've had people call the show over the years with the courtroom legal theories, the all capital letters, all these different theories, and most people won't actually put them into any kind of use. They won't actually ever have any kind of track record with them. It sounds like you've actually attempted to do something, but you sort of don't really know what the results of it were. So you don't know if a warrant is issued for you. You did say you're very, very cautious when you're in New Hampshire, which suggests that you sort of are acknowledging that there's a good chance that they're looking for you. Because generally, as you know, in their court system, if you don't show up for one of their appointments, they will consider that to be an offense, and the judge will issue a warrant for your arrest. Now, I mean, I'm with you, David. I agree with the idea that you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be subject to their jurisdiction without consent. But unfortunately, they tend to not agree, and I've yet to see any of those arguments actually be successful or any evidence for it. We're out of time for you tonight, but I appreciate your call. Feel free to call us again anytime if you want to talk further about any kind of courtroom adventures, because I'm always looking for people that actually have some experience with this stuff to really kind of show their example. It's very hard to find that. There's more coming up here if you want to jump in with us. It's Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free, bring up what you want here. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. Skype username LRN.FM. Plus, there's our Discord on-air call-in line room, and we're going to go to that here shortly. But your calls and thoughts come first. You can bring up anything with you in the studio tonight, by the way. It's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
As we continue, do want to make sure you know about the crypto tip. If you are a cryptocurrency advocate, this is a way for you to share crypto with people, with new people. And in fact, we were talking about it today at our cryptocurrency meetup here in the Keene, New Hampshire area. We had a new guy show up from the area, and I think Chris, our Friday night co-host, was talking about the crypto tip with him, and he thought it was a really cool idea. And it is. You can go to cryptotip.org. It is currently in beta. It's only for Dash at the moment. At some point, we may add some other cryptos to it, if indeed there is some kind of demand for it. People right now don't really know what this is. They've never tried it before. So you can go and you can use cryptotip.org for no extra fee, meaning that you don't have to pay the site a fee to use it. You can just deposit whatever amount of Dash you want into these crypto tips. You print them out, and then you hand them out. I gave out a crypto tip today when we were out at our cryptocurrency meetup. I gave a $10 crypto tip to the bartendress, the new bartendress at the Thirsty Owl here in Keene, which takes cryptocurrency, but she's new, so she was never introduced to it. It's a perfect way to get cryptocurrency literally into people's hands to where they can then go and learn more and collect their first cryptocurrency.
What did you call her? Bartenderess?
Bartendress. As in a female bartender? A bartendress?
I didn't know
like
a
waitress?
I didn't know I thought they were gender neutral. I thought it was just bartender.
You can use the term bartender if you like, but calling her a bartendress makes it clear that I'm talking about a female bartender.
Did you stomp your fist on the table and bartendress?
No, I did not.
Are you just saying it out loud for the first time this evening just to see how it sounds?
No, I've said bartendress before.
It sounds weird to me.
It does
sound weird.
Now that I've said it so many times, it's sounding weird. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. So check out cryptotip.org. It's there, it works, and it's a great outreach tool for people that care about crypto and want other people to find out about it. Valerie's on the line in Kentucky. Valerie, where are you in Kentucky tonight? I'm not sure where we're.
I'm in Davis County, Kentucky, Owensboro.
Okay, very good. So what's on your mind tonight?
Okay, well, I'm calling because I listened to the cop a little bit ago call in.
Yeah.
The gentleman that's been on the police force, let the drunk driver go, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I'm calling to add on to what he is trying to say. First off, let me start with, I live in the most corrupt county probably in our whole United States. Our cops set speed traps, catch people 5 lights up, give you fake warrants, make you go to court just so you can pay court costs. I shit you not. Me and
oh my God, we can't let you say that. I'm so sorry about that. We gotta drop your call because you said the S word. Unfortunately, we have to do that. I wish we didn't have to.
Yeah.
But that pesky FCC will send agents with guns into our radio stations if they don't pay fines when people complain about that kind of thing. So
yeah,
we unfortunately have to protect our stations from that violence. And so, therefore, we had to drop your call. I would have been interested in hearing the story. It's not uncommon, by the way, for people to believe that they have the most corrupt cops in their area.
Right.
Yeah, in Florida, we had, I think it was Waldo.
Waldo, Florida, the town where they actually, AAA.
Is that the speed trap?
Yes.
It was. They actually, I believe, abolished the police department within recent years. But it was this historic speed trap town where AAA paid for billboards outside of the town to where you would see a gigantic billboard as you were coming into the speed trap letting you know, speed trap ahead. This town was raising their entire police department revenue from speeding tickets.
Right, because in Florida, the local
a little extra
police.
too.
I'm sorry, y'all.
I thought a little extra as well. I think they were, it wasn't just the police department.
You think it went through the whole town? I don't recall.
Oh, yeah.
You might be right.
Because in Florida, like a bunch of other states, the local police or the local town winds up getting revenue from tickets.
Yes.
Yeah,
New Hampshire, luckily, is one of those states where that does not happen.
Yeah, it was horrible. I don't even think they had a traffic light in Waldo, but we would always go to it because
little town.
They had a huge flea market. When I say huge, I mean
ginormous.
Good dozen football field size flea market, and it was a good place to go. But everyone knew, the locals knew what was going on, but it was a tourist trap.
I want to invite Valerie to call on another night here on Free Talk Live to tell the story. I'd really like to hear about it.
I don't mean to minimize her claim that they have the most corrupt cops there in Owensboro, which, by the way, she's listening to WOMI in Owensboro, Kentucky, which carries us Monday through Friday for an hour, and so glad to hear that folks are out there tuned in. But it's pretty common for people to believe that it's their police department that's the most corrupt, because they're the ones who are getting hurt by them. Their friends are the ones who are getting arrested. Their friends are the ones getting thrown in jail cells for all kinds of victimless crimes, and it's understandable, and I don't blame people for believing that. Let's continue here. We've got Mortified Penguin. He's on our Discord on-air call-in line room. Go ahead, Penguin, calling from Virginia.
Hey, yeah, well, I'm going to have to look up that word bartendress. It's got me kind of intrigued.
All right.
But anyways, I wanted to call about the fallout of Monday night's show and with the whole police discussion. You know, I mean, we were talking about this. We were talking about it in the Discord chat, even in casual chat last night. And just to kind of reiterate what was said on yesterday's show, you know, all this talk about, I mean, even if you're not overtly talking about killing cops, which is obviously distasteful to a lot of people, but these ideas of aggression, the non-aggression principle, and the implications of it in the kind of voluntarist, you know, hard libertarian context, that's really esoteric. We have to step back and say, yes, if you listen to Liberty podcasts, go to these conventions, and if you're into liberty and voluntarism, that's basic 101, and that should be fundamental. You think that should be fundamental for everybody. We teach our children not to hit other kids.
That's right.
But this is esoteric libertarianism.
It sure is.
The masses, majority of people. We have to realize that let's just take an example from the right of center people. And because I'm sure you can come up with left of center people. You got your guy listening to the radio out there. And I mean, I'm not just talking specifically about Free Talk Live, but it kind of is, because you're the only big libertarian show. And he likes his guns, he likes his firearm rights, he likes his free speech. He thinks his free speech is under attack because blah blah blah. He likes he wants people to stay off his property. He likes his Fourth Amendment rights. He thinks the police are maybe getting a little bit out of control, but he values his police. He has this idea that, you know, in our current societal context, people don't understand a stateless society. The police might do seem necessary to people. They support their police. They might support their troops. Maybe they like their flag, and they definitely like their borders. And this guy is really definitely probably on the path to liberty. But how is he going to get disabused of these notions if he turns off these anarchists that are talking about, you know, killing cops, or talking about aggression, or talking about things that he doesn't understand the context to? So I think that's why it can be harmful, you know, to kind of talk about these esoteric concepts.
Well, I mean, we're not going to avoid a conversation here just because, you know, some people might have the opinion that it could be so-called harmful. I think that these are conversations that ultimately we cannot avoid. And they need to happen.
This conversation is very important, I believe. This is why we had the First Amendment.
This is a reality. People are mad at the police. This is something that you can see it in the mainstream media, like when they report on protests that happen after police violence that'll occur in an area, and people will come out and they'll protest. And they'll report on that, and the questions will be asked, well, why are people so upset? Well, people are upset for a good reason. And what happens when people get upset too much is what Conan's talking about, is where the anger builds up and then it explodes outward into actual violence. And I don't want to see that happen. I understand, Conan, you believe it's inevitable.
It's inevitable.
And I think that you probably are right about that. But we still have to speak out against it here on Free Talk Live and acknowledge that it exists, because it does exist, not just in the hearts of some libertarians, but in just average people who are angry about the police, and that some's going to happen. And we need to talk about how that, when it does happen, is not going to be helpful. It may be cathartic for the people who are involved in it, but it's ultimately going to set back the freedom movement, especially if it's a libertarian who does it, because then they'll be able to paint them as a violent nut job and so on. Thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you on the topic, Penguin. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. We got time for you if you want to jump in here. This is Free Talk Live.
Take control of the airwaves.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. It's already been an extraordinary year for the Innocence Project and their clients. They've already freed more innocent people in the past 12 months than in any year in the history of the Innocence Project, and they're gearing up to do even more. The attorneys and paralegals for the Innocence Project are dedicated to doing whatever it takes to set an innocent person free. To support them, a new cohort of law students have recently joined and are excited to help with more than 200 cases of clients seeking to prove their innocence. 9 clients have been exonerated and reunited with their families in 2018 already, and your support now will help build on the incredible momentum of exonerations. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
We're being attacked by news from all sides in tonight's News Blitz. Now we're homing in on Houston, Texas, where NASA announced today that the crew of the International Space Station has successfully completed their 13-year mission studying man's ability to constantly repair a large object in space. NASA officials hailed the remarkable feat of maintenance at a press conference this afternoon.
And throughout human history, man has gazed at the stars and dreamed of fixing something up there. People once thought the ultimate feat in human repair was a really big boat. Today, we've accomplished so much more.
This comes in the wake of NASA's previous success, finding out how many times an astronaut could hold something in his hand, then let it go, watch it float in front of his face for a bit, then catch it again. All right, dust yourself off. You have survived the News Blitz.
Tune in tomorrow morning to Today Now. We'll look back at Jim's week as a polygamist.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, we got time for you, maybe, if you get on the line now. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855. Whoa, and I should have muted him there. That's our next caller. We'll get into that coming up here in a bit. Of course, your calls and thoughts, you can bring up whatever is on your mind. With you here in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
By the way, I do want to make sure you know about our Discord on-air call-in line room, and that is where we're going to go here shortly. But there's more than that on the Discord server. There's, I don't know, a dozen or so, maybe more than a dozen rooms about various different topics, cryptocurrency, video gaming. There's voice chat rooms where listeners can get in and chat with one another in voice form. But there's, of course, also text chat rooms, which is where the conversation has been going hot and heavy tonight. In the Free Talk Live room. So during the show, best room to be in is the Free Talk Live room. But throughout the day, 24 hours a day, the server is available. There are people talking about various different things all over it. So go check it out over at discord.lrn.fm. There's a handy app that you can download for just about any operating system. Or if you don't like apps, you can just use their web version through discord.lrn.fm. As we continue with your calls and thoughts here, we've got Liberty Phoenix, who is, unfortunately, he doesn't appear to have unmuted his microphone, so we're going to give him a quick moment in which he can unmute his microphone, but if he doesn't, we will have to move on to others. I will tell you, I did pull up, Conan, bartendress on urbandictionary.com. Definition claimed here is a female, one who serves beverages, typically alcoholic in nature, to patrons at a restaurant or bar. A bartendress, and then in parentheses it says serving wench, is typically gorgeous and takes in oodles of money from intoxicated men, leaving tips with the hope of impressing through grandeur.
Yeah, and posted 2011.
The Wikipedia, hold on.
5 upvotes.
The Wikipedia for bartender says also known as a barkeep, a barman, a barmaid, a bar chef, a tapster, a mixologist, alcohol server, flairman, or alcohol chef.
Well, add bartendress to that list.
All right, the next time you're
bartendress would be the correct female gendered term, but I think probably I like mixologist.
Probably in this day and age, you probably want to keep it gender neutral because you got all the crazies out there.
Do you call waitresses waiters?
I call them by their name.
I know that, not when you're talking to them, but like when you're referring to them, if you're talking amongst someone else.
Usually, yes, waiters. I have said waitress before, but the same thing with parking maids. I don't say parking maids. I say parking meter attendants.
Parking maids shorter.
I would refer to any wait staff as either the wait staff or server.
Server's a good gender neutral term, but I'm sorry, I don't take offense to terms with ESS after them. I don't really see why.
Go ahead and call a female actress an actress, and when she wants to be called an actor.
Well, whatever. Why does it matter that much?
Well, it doesn't matter to you, obviously, but it does to them.
Why does it matter to them?
I don't know. Because they don't want to.
It matters to some people, and
I think
about those
in
people.
that field there is definite battle between male and female where the ladies never get to act past a certain age, whereas you have all these
female leads never make as much as male leads.
Yep.
Is that true? Well, let's go to your calls and thoughts here. I thought Hollywood was supposed to be progressive. Let's talk to Liberty Phoenix.
Nope.
Liberty Phoenix, you there now?
Yes.
All right, we have gentlemen. Go ahead, sir.
Really should have called in a lot earlier with this topic, but I've been listening to a lot of the Vanu podcast, which is basically about seeking personal freedom. And
what was it called?
Not so much the Vanu podcast.
Vanu? Spell
it.
Yep. VONU. Apparently it's supposed to be pronounced Vonu, but the hosts have been pronouncing it wrong for like the last 2 seasons.
Wait, it's their show and they're pronouncing it wrong? Maybe they're pronouncing it right.
It's about personal freedom? Is this a libertarian show or what?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
And they've got a lot of criticisms for individuals who do like the political campaigning, the political crusading, and secessionists and so forth, because they're focused more on just individual freedom and how you can actually secure that in your own life.
Okay.
And they brought up an issue that I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Sure.
In regarding secession, because as we all know, the government, the state, claims to own all of your property, regardless of what magic titles you use and magic wands and words. And they were bringing up the point that even if you do manage to secede, whatever property is owned by whatever independent nation or something, it will only be held in fee simple and not allodial, an allodial title as opposed to a fee simple title. Are you guys familiar with that at all?
I don't know much about all that. What about it?
I was just wondering what your position was, whether or not, like, because I know you guys are.
Well, I've heard what a allodial title. The claim that a
secession
allodial title is that you truly own title to a property. I'm not sure exactly what fee simple means.
Okay.
What's it mean?
Do you guys? Well, as far as my interpretation is, fee simple means that we will just tell you that you own it, but we really still own it.
So the current status, the current situation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is that after secession, the state still exists. Well, that's obvious.
Well, not just that they still exist, but that they still claim your land, like your actual real estate.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you can establish an allodial title.
Right,
And
which would not come with secession, because secession is only for the state to leave the United States in this particular case. That's what the secessionists would be arguing for. Then after that, we'd like to see, I think, smaller government, and reducing the government down to zero would be nice. But secession is one reduction down from where we currently are. I mean, it'd be great if it came along with a allodial title, but that's, highly unlikely to ever be proposed in any kind of secessionist platform, simply because if you want people to vote on an issue, which secession would probably have to go to a vote, you want to keep it simple. You want it to just simply be, should New Hampshire, or fill in the state, secede from the United States?
Yeah, the ultimate goal is 325 million small kingdoms.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. But you got to start, with a concept people can understand, right? Even though we all want to see individual secession
is like the first step.
Yeah, even though we want to see individuals being able to secede from the state itself, because the state is just an idea. It's a terrible idea. It's an old idea. It's a violent, a decrepit old idea, and it needs to go away. We're still having to communicate with our neighbors, and more of our neighbors are going to be able to understand the benefits of leaving the United States than understand, at this point, why it's a good idea to abolish the state entirely. So it's, it is a political step. It is a step in the right direction.
I think, probably the furthest in the next, 200 years or so that we might be able to ever convince people to, quote unquote, allow secession to happen would be down to like the city-state level.
Go back to Roman city-states.
Yeah,
I mean, that'd be definitely a step up.
But
or Greek, I'm sorry.
So, Phoenix, are you, it sounds like the show you're listening to is maybe a critic of the idea of secession because it doesn't go far enough? Is that what kind of their position is?
It sounds like it's a waste of time.
Yeah, exactly. They're more focused. These individuals are more focused on getting as much liberty and freedom as you can right now, instead of, working towards changing the world and all this other stuff. Just change yourself and change your own personal circumstances and establish an invulnerability to coercion. That's the whole idea behind.
That sounds magical. How do you establish an invulnerability to coercion?
There's a lot. There's a whole mess of stuff. I mean, I'm on like episode 24, but there's a lot of stuff.
Well, obviously, I can't ask you to boil down 24 episodes of a podcast into the next 30 seconds, but there's a great book out there, and I imagine they've probably read it, called How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World. It's by Harry Browne, the Libertarian presidential candidate, and he kind of goes into different areas in which you can increase right now your freedom, but ultimately, even Harry Browne would not claim that you can avoid coercion. I mean, there are men with guns out there who will hurt you if they discern that you haven't followed their rules. And there's no way you can avoid those people anywhere on the planet unless you manage to go into the middle of a desert somewhere where nobody's there, in the middle of the woods where you can't be found.
And those are some of the steps that they do propose. The gentleman that wrote this first book, Banu, a guide to personal freedom, this guy named Rayo. From what I understand, he ended up going out, living in a polyethylene tent in the middle of the woods, and then eventually built an underground shelter and just, got as far away from the servile society, like, regular society as he could.
Why'd he come back?
In order to find freedom. He didn't. The last thing anybody heard from him was in 1967, I believe it was, or 73. And
cool, man.
Was writing
he found freedom. To me, it just seems, and it sounds like Mark Edge, who's not here tonight, that he would really appreciate that, because he's been bitching and moaning about the liberty movement here for many months, behind the scenes and on the air.
Months, I'd say a couple of years.
Yeah, maybe even years now. And he's real butthurt about the liberty movement not going as fast as he thought it would, and political blah blah blah, this whole thing. And it just, to me, like, I couldn't do that
and know that other people were being hurt around the world. To me, liberty is something that should be accessible by anybody who wants it, and not everybody is going to be able to get out into the woods. I'm sorry, Phoenix, we're out of time tonight. Feel free to call another night. But not everybody's going to be able to go out and live in the woods, live off the land and all that. It's just not.
Sucks.
I'm sorry. We'll see you tomorrow. freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 11th, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.92 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,250 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $21, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,000.